an extraordinary being who has guarded the nation for over 400 years, but before retiring, he was secretly executed by senior management. And the reason they do this, it was actually to satisfy the demands of the clan. What no one expected was, I was actually reborn, back to when I had just graduated from university. It's simply because in my previous life I mastered the primal power of light. Before dying, he unexpectedly broke through to the 5th rank, activated the ability to rewind time. In this life, I will transform from a pawn into a chess player, no longer letting others seek your own destiny. A long-missed ringtone rang out. I suddenly stood up, panting heavily. I stared into deep thought at the stone on the wall. Strict calendar year 2035. No one has gotten it yet, so now I can freely choose the path I want to take in the future. And the types of spirit seeds are all sorts of things. Strength and weakness also vary. Once fused, it can never be changed. So I've already decided what kind of spirit seed I want to fuse in this life. Suddenly, the sound of the lock turning interrupted my thoughts. The girl who entered was my cousin, Ning Xiaoxin, and my only family. Xiaoyan, haven't you been looking for a job lately? Today I saw a company recruiting fresh graduates. How about it? Interested in giving it a try? I heard the word work. Only then did I remember my current career, a recent college graduate. But in this life, working for someone is impossible. Sis, I've made plans with my classmates. Let's go out and have fun together for a few days. I'll look for it when I get back. Still, for years of college, you haven't really gone out to have fun. I'll transfer you some money in a bit, but you must pay attention to safety. One day at noon, I came out of a loan company. In my current position, at most, he could only get 200,000, but at least we had some startup capital. The next step is to set off, to obtain a leading breed that will shock the world in the future. Outside Lhasa Airport, a burly man with a Losahu hairstyle, holding a sign in both hands. Use colored pens on the signs, written in large characters like Ning Xiaoyan-san. Handsome guy, my name is Ahu. You must be climbing Everest. It's me. When can the summit be arranged? As soon as possible. Originally, it was acquired the day after tomorrow. However, the guide has been busy these past few days and can't come. But you don't need to worry. I've already arranged the accommodation. In the next few days, you can get familiar with your surroundings. I have all the equipment stocked here. As soon as the guide arrives, we could set off immediately. I'll climb the summit the day after tomorrow. I don't need a guide. Just give me the equipment. Bring me to the foot of the mountain. The promised 100,000 yuan. Not a single cent will be less. At that moment, it felt like the most ridiculous joke Ahu had ever heard in his life. Even the top mountaineering experts. Nor could I climb Everest alone. That was undoubtedly a suicide. Young people today are still too confident. The next day, Ahu took me to a stronghold closest to Everest. You can stay here for the night first. All the equipment was inside the tent. I'll go take care of something. Tomorrow morning, I can take you up the mountain. After a quick look at the equipment, I then stepped out of the tent. We arrived at the famous lamb soup shop here. He had just sat down. I noticed a woman not far away. His skin was as fair as jade. Her features are delicate and captivating. She was the epitome of a classic beauty. Her gaze swept over him. Then he looked at the two burly men behind him. Just this one glance, I knew this woman's identity was definitely extraordinary. Protected by two top special forces. It seems his intentions aren't simple either. The man behind him seemed to notice that my gaze was a bit unusual. But after glancing at me, he looked away. His gaze carried a sense of disregard. It shows that in their eyes, I can't even pose a threat. Yet deep down, I didn't care at all. But at this moment, he encountered a few people with unusual backgrounds. To me, it seemed like a bad omen. The next day, at the foot of Mount Everest, Ahu was carrying a briefcase, entering the mountaineering management office. About 10 minutes later, he then signaled me to go in. A middle-aged man. He took out a work uniform and handed it to me. Put this on and go inside. Recently, I checked the salt above, and this locator. Take it well. What an accident. Call me immediately over the walkie-talkie. Of course, that's an additional price. After I walked far away, Ahu hurriedly gave the middle-aged man a smile. He handed over a cup of hot water. Thank you for your trouble, fifth brother. Otherwise, my business deal. It was basically going to be a dead end. Old Five snorted coldly. Considering our years of friendship, this is the last time I'll help you. Someone is coming upstairs. If they find out our petty tricks, so just one sentence can make me leave. Just then, a black off-road vehicle was parked outside the office door. Leading them was the woman they had met at the lamb shop last night. Seeing this, old Wu hurried out to greet him. Shinran, her, You didn't even notify me in advance when you came. Old Master Xia's health was actually quite good. New Year's with the elderly man's dedicated teachings. Now I have nothing to do, yet my voice echoes often. Wait until I have time. I must go back and visit him. Uncle Wu is thoughtful. My grandfather is in great health. This time, we are coming. It was with a mission. Time is tight, so I want to reach the summit immediately. What do you need? Just contact me directly. I'll resolve it as soon as possible. At that moment, I was reminiscing. The younger brother the man in his previous life referred to. Then he checked the locator on his body, thrown on the ground. Everyone was guessing. Everest is bound to have a lord. So they each won. They all acted as if they didn't care about their lives. Climbing toward the summit. Little did they know, the treasure was right at the foot of the mountain. I'm leaving just like that. Nearly a day and night. I only know the direction of the main area, caused by the gaze. Not a single corner is overlooked, until I exhausted my strength. Until the shadow sways with the wind. At this moment, I knew it must be a spiritual seed. I stared at the black bloody curtain. Some were dry and tongue-tied. The previous life, my spiritual seed contains the inherent power of light. But in the eyes of the world, it often represents hope and the future. But as time passed, the higher-ups noticed the speed at which I was promoted, and practical ability. It wasn't as stunning as I imagined. But what puzzled me was this. Why would the aliens stop at nothing to kill me? I shook my head. Leave these questions behind. I pulled out a dagger from my pocket, an anime where you cut through your arm with a single stroke. Then, a large gush of hot blood splattered directly onto the pitch-black blood curtain. This was done to increase the success rate of spirit seed fusion. It was also invented by a genius from a previous life. I grabbed the blood curtain. He swallowed it whole. The bone-chilling blood curtain instantly transformed into a surge of vital energy and entered my body. That familiar and unimaginable pain reappeared after a long time, until the pain made me lose consciousness completely, and to die as they crossed over. Surely it was clear how many days had passed. I just woke up from a pile of blood. After getting up, I immediately used my spirit form to get up at a loss. It really worked. I saw a pitch-black noise inside me, like dead wood, rooted in the duck of fish. He snatched a pitch-black small glowing orb. It means I am now a transcendent being. He opened his phone to check. Only then did I realize I had been unconscious for a full 15 days. There were countless calls and messages from Sister Tang on her phone. I was going to call back, but after thinking it over, I crushed my phone directly. Then just say you lost your phone. Then I checked the abilities of the Dark Bell for a generation. It is called Shadow Residence. I saw my shadow begin to stretch. The shape of the shadow will keep changing according to my intentions. A thought struck me. A pitch-black spear shot from my shadow toward the boulder ahead. Just a light kick. This tree-man-tall boulder shattered like tofu, but after a brief familiarity, I became clear about one of my abilities. From shadow to phantom, not just randomly changing forms. Attack the target. It can also be splashed from the ground, floating before us, such as sudden attack. Defense, speed, a lord whose power is 1. In my previous life, I only saw 3, but everything is included in the first stage. Only Enling was the 1. I became one with the shadow. Then it turned into a phantom. Better to rush to the summit of Mount Everest. An ordinary person would need half a month. Only then can it be done. Now I only need a few seconds. Meanwhile, there were 2 groups at the summit of Mount Everest. They were exchanging fire. Gunfire and bullets struck the rocks. The sounds of collisions kept ringing. I've even seen one of them. It was quite recently. A woman and 2 men met at a lamb soup shop. At this moment, Xia Xin ran, while being protected by 2 special forces soldiers on a mountain. Among them, when will the rescue arrive? Meanwhile, another group of people surrounded them. There lay 5 or 6 corpses. But even so, their numbers, still more than Xia Xin knew inside. At least another half hour. Miss, they are not only too numerous but weightless, and all of them are experienced fighters. Probably not even half of the story. Just then, the enemy's fire stopped. Then the rain of slipping at the corner sounded. Drop your weapon. Surrender immediately. As long as you surrender, I guarantee your lives. Shisho's face was terrifyingly dark. Damn it, it turned out to be a group of sheep devils. They actually dared to cross the line and come to us with guns. Xia Xinran heard the voice, but he felt like an ear technique. Soon, someone called out, "You've crossed the line with Li Pai, and it broke the rules. You know what the consequences are, Miss Xia. Since you came here, so it seems our goal is the same. If you're willing to come back with me, I can swear by the Lord, it will absolutely not hurt you. How about it? Dream on." He wants to use my cooperation with the Xia family to gain benefits. If I die here, You won't be long before you arrive. You can die too. Li Pai sighed. Then he spoke to the burly man beside him. Rush again. If it doesn't work, we'll retreat. From what I know about Xie Xinran, there must be an emergency team at the foot of the mountain. We don't have much time left. As soon as he finished speaking, the gunshots rang out again. I stood in the shadows, bored as I watched the scene. I originally planned to leave right now, but upon hearing Xie Xinran's identity, one of the top families, he holds significant influence at the top. If you can make use of it, it greatly helped me with my early planning. Thinking of this, I picked up a piece of lion. He flicked his fingers toward the person below. Shisho was doing its utmost to suppress the enemy's firepower. He was immediately hit in the knee. That move made him feel completely shaken, uncontrollably falling forward. The opponent seized the opportunity. In an instant, several bullets pierced through Shisho's body. Xie Xinran stared blankly at Shisho's corpse. Her mind went blank. I expressionlessly popped out the lion again. Another burly man's right hand, instantly pierced. The rifle in his hand, not a single one took a kiss, also fell to the ground. The burly man stared in astonishment at his right hand. What's going on? Are there snipers on the other side? Li Pai hiding behind cover. Seeing this scene, he immediately became excited. He was skilled in marksmanship. Charge over there. Captured Xie Xinran alive. Xie Xinran's eyes turned red. Old Xie, are you okay? Miss, sorry, I failed to protect you. After I die, you absolutely cannot be captured alive by them. As soon as he finished speaking, he picked up his rifle and rushed out. Xie Xinran raised his pistol, facing himself. The entire suburb trembled uncontrollably, even though she was strong inside. But in the face of death, she still feels fearful and helpless like ordinary people. Li Pai walked up a few meters away from Xie Xinran. Miss Xie, there's no need to go this far. Isn't there a saying in your Huaxia? Is always mistaken for a hero? Don't worry, as long as you behave, I won't hurt you. Xie Xinran Wen Yang just looked coldly at Li Pai. In your view, this era is more brilliant than ever. But in the hearts of many, this era is desperate. Don't worry, I believe you won't be long before that will come to keep me company. She finished her last sentence, so he closed his eyes, ready to pull the trigger. However, at that moment, a pitch-black spear instantly pierced through Lippy's head. The blood of the deadly world is wrapped in brain matter, spraying Xie Xinran all over. The remaining burly men reacted to their senses. He quickly pulled the trigger toward us. However, a scene that brought them despair occurred. Countless bullets seemed to hit the barrier plate. They all fell to the ground. When Xie Xinran wiped the blood off her face, the ground was already littered with scattered corpses. He had undergone all kinds of training. Her stomach was also churning uncontrollably. The fear was greatly reduced. Senior, which department are you in? I gave a kind smile. I am one. Ordinary people. It turned out like this. It was also an accident. You saw it too. My own strength. I'm still not very familiar with the control. Originally, I wanted to give them a quick and easy finish. Who would have thought it would turn out like this? Xie Xinran wrote in classical Chinese. His eyes widened instantly. A commoner of extraordinary beings. And such an extraordinary lord. If he could join my Xie family. So, in the current situation, can improve a lot. Significant influence. But he was just getting ready. When he spoke up to invite me, he immediately thought of it. Words spoken to him by his elders at home. Fortunately, these extraordinary beings, in a way, he was no longer human. They gain terrifying powers. When certain things happen, often do as they please. So when facing people like this, be careful. Be extra careful. I do not know the elders. Can you leave your name? Phone. Today's life-saving favor. I gladly promise to repay you. She was a somewhat smart woman. That's what I thought to myself. Then he shook his head with a smile. No need to repay him. I just don't want to see my own compatriots. They were just bullied by these foreigners. Then, I spread the shadow beneath my feet to the scattered corpses and corpses around. Cover it all. They saw these dismembered corpses and the bodies of the Western Jew and their group vanished without a trace, as if falling into a deep pool. All right, let's part ways here. Go ahead and paint. I drew a pitch-black afterimage, disappearing from sight without a trace. Xie Xinran watched this scene in shock. What level of spiritual precision is this? It can even blink its shadow. At this moment, in the sky, a dark shadow streaked through the mist like a meteor. After I rushed home without stopping, what caught my eye was sitting on the sofa. Ning Xiaoxing was lost in thought. The moment he saw me, he burst out laughing. Then he suddenly stood up from the sofa. Xiaoyan, Where have you been these past 10 days? He wouldn't answer the phone either. Do you know I've already called the police? Said Uncle Hat. You buy a plane ticket to Lhasa. I thought you were tricked into going abroad and wouldn't come back. I hugged Ning Xiaoxing, who was crying. I'm fine, sis. Our good days are just around the corner. You weren't very envious when you were a child. The princess in the TV drama. You'll be able to live that kind of life in the future. Ning Xiaoxing's Wen Yang was indeed opening my arms. Xiao Yang, ordinary and simple is also a blessing. You can't just make money, do anything dangerous. Even if you don't go to work, I can feed you too. But the consequences of being ordinary, it is before facing certain things, there is no qualification to choose. Ning Xiaoxing looked at me in a daze. He always felt that this cousin in front of him was different from before, but then he insisted on finding out. What have I been doing lately? And I simply told the lie I had already made up. I had already made plans with classmates back in college. After graduation, I went to Everest to take photos and serve tea, but then the phone was lost and I couldn't afford it. Later, I met a kind person. They bought me a plane ticket to come back. Ning Xinshin finally breathed a sigh of relief upon hearing this. As long as you're okay, you must be hungry. I'll go cook for you. Midnight, I sat with my breath resting. Start focusing and absorbing the instincts in the darkness. These origins are inhaled by ordinary people without any effect, but extraordinary beings can transform it into spiritual source. These spiritual sources would then be absorbed by the number of people inside their bodies. Once it has absorbed a certain amount, and will then produce the Ling Yuan fruit. Each extra Ling Yuan fruit countdown appears. It means the extraordinary person has successfully advanced with a single strike. In his previous life, that man had only recently obtained the Dark Bell. It attracted countless eyes, because of Anling's terrifying advancement speed and insane abilities. This places it in opposition to a race, and even to humans. Many higher-ups want you to be strong, but I don't want you to be too strong. Ultimately, this led some people to collude with their own clan, assassinate it on the path of growth. The countdown inside me was continuously absorbing darkness into myself. The only Ling Yuan fruit emitted a faint glow, gently swaying. It was as if he was delighted and delighted. The absorption speed of this dark bell was truly terrifying. As things stand, he wanted to advance to the second tier. It only takes up to 1 month. You have to understand, ordinary transcendence without external support. It would take at least 6 years to advance to the second tier. It was already 3 in the morning. My figure appeared in the bustling night market. It is time to implement the second part of the plan. An alley beside a bar. The 2 men in front were cursing at the same time, while beating a young man on the ground. The young man lying on the ground had bloodshot eyes. He screamed, trying to get up, but one of the men kicked her hard to the ground. I was terrified. He knocked me out. Don't let it dampen my mood. Passers-by around saw this scene. Who knows what will happen next? But someone recognized him. The identity of the leading man. He should be another second-generation noble from some Dazhou city. I watched this scene. He showed a satisfied smile. The stone in his hand pointed in one direction. It quickly ejected out. Which reckless bastard is this reckless bastard? How dare you ambush me? A man pointed at the onlookers. He cursed loudly. Only then would you dare throw stones at me. Believe it or not, I'll kill you. Tomorrow will be fine as usual. Seeing this, the people around quickly scattered and fled. At that moment, another stone flew over, perfectly balanced. He landed right on the head of this thug. A rush of heat instantly swept across his collar clip. Now he could clearly see who had done it. You little brat, how dare you hit me? Believe it or not, tonight, I'll cripple you. Tomorrow, I'll kill your whole family right in front of you, he said as he walked toward me. His burly physique paired with his face twisted with anger, and further clarified the order of deterrence. I slapped him and smashed half his face to pieces. One eyeball almost fell out. No screams came from the other side, because he had already been deleted and lost consciousness. Then I kicked him in the abdomen. His lower abdomen and spine were shattered by that kick. For the rest of my life, I'll just lie in bed and live well. The other 2 stared at me in a daze. I walked step by step toward the 2 of them. He didn't waste words with them. Each of them kicked one by one. Still the same Xiaofu position. The next morning, when I woke up, it was already past lunchtime. On the dining table was the lunch Sister Tang had prepared for me, and Yida Cash. There was also a message she left me on the note. Xiaoyan, remember to have lunch. I put 3,000 yuan on you. Don't forget to buy a phone later. I picked up the money on the table. A smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. This silly sister, she used her own phone for years and couldn't bear to replace it. But it was a good opportunity to help her get a better phone. I used the remaining money from the loan at the phone shop to buy 2 Weihua phones. As soon as I stepped outside, I noticed no fewer than 20. His gaze was fixed on me. I was holding my phone, as if he did not know Ban. He headed straight to his residential complex. I had just stepped into the entrance of the residential complex. Several people in uniforms walked over. The woman in the lead held a document. He spoke slowly. Ning Xiaoyan. He is 22 years old this year. Graduated from Daizhou Normal University. At 3, both parents have passed away. Afterwards, you were adopted by your eldest uncle. Until you were 12, your uncle has become addicted to prostitution, gambling, and drugs, planning to buy your cousin Ning Xinshin as someone else's wife. But not long after, she died unexpectedly after getting drunk. After that, on the other, you can rely on your cousin to support each other. Even to this day, Ning Xiaoyan, you have a good cousin. She gave up top foreign universities for you. On the other hand, he worked part-time and studied to support himself, while carefully taking care of you. From beginning to end, I just quietly watched them. He said nothing. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Xu Weiyi, from a special department. Come with us. My boss wants to talk to you. There was no hint of negotiation in Xu Weiyi's words. I laughed, but that smile suddenly made Xu Weiyi a bit anxious. The burly man behind him was robust. He stepped forward to shield Xu Weiyi behind him. Meanwhile, the tree lit up with a little red dot on me. Obviously, they had already set up an impenetrable net all around. Are you here for those 3 useless people from yesterday? No, no, no. They are not worthy yet. We came to you because of your abilities. Alright, I'll go with you. Just wait until I put my phone home for now. Of course you can. We're waiting for you right here. After I thanked him, he turned and walked back to his own apartment. However, it was inside the apartment building out of sight of them. A strange smile appeared on my face. Finally, it's your turn, my dear friends. Headquarters of the Transcendent. I'm back. The burly man was a bit puzzled. Miss Xu, you agreed to go back alone. Aren't you afraid he'll use his extraordinary power to run away? Xu Wei chuckled softly. If he were smart, he wouldn't have left. After all, he was not alone. No attachments at all. If not for this. So our purpose in coming today isn't to invite him. Instead, they want to strangle them. Not yet fully grown. I didn't keep them waiting long either. Soon, they boarded their specially made military vehicle. All 4 sides of the windows are covered with a special material. This prevents people inside the car from looking out the window. Where are we going? Headquarters of the Transcendent. Hope next time you come, we no longer welcome you this way. Of course I understand what he said. Nowadays, I don't trust them at all. Naturally, I wouldn't let them know where their headquarters is. Sitting in the car for nearly half a day. Only then was the car door opened. The familiar building before me was still there. How about it? Quite spectacular, isn't it? Additionally, let me tell you quietly, the location here is quite special. You absolutely wouldn't have guessed that. As they spoke, a man in a suit walked over. He introduced it with a big smile. Hello, Ning Xiaoyan. My name is Liu Yi. He was Xu Weiyi's superior minister. My task was accomplished. If there's nothing else, I'll just withdraw for now. No rush. You stay with Brother Ning. Let's go to the meeting room together. After all, you are all from Daizhou City. Liu Ning said he might relax a bit. Don't you agree? Ning is a little brother. My hands were slightly sweaty. Then he followed Liu Ning. They entered the conference room. At this moment, inside the conference room, 5 people were already seated. After entering the meeting room, they are like bystanders. Watching all this, something different from my calmness. Xu Weiyi did seem a bit nervous. He sneaked a glance. The elderly man sitting in the center. Oh my god, isn't he the top-tier superhuman from the TV show? Then, Liu Yi then began to explain to me the origins of the extraordinary and the existence of alien races. The global landscape is quietly shifting. A brand new era is about to begin. Ning Xiaoyan, this time, we invite you here. I just hope you can join us. Efficiency for the country. To put it bluntly, it's just serving the country with their lives. If there was a mission where he had to die, it definitely falls on us extraordinary beings. For example, those alien races you just mentioned. Not bad, just as you said. Of course, you can also choose not to join us. It's all your freedom. Hearing this, I couldn't stop sneering in my heart. So what's the benefit of me joining you? What if I don't join you? Join us. You are the official Transcendent. We will assess your abilities. The highest level is S rank, minimum C grade. We will assess your level. Different allowances are provided. Minimum monthly requirement is 200,000 yuan, and various special ID cards. There is also limited protection rights for relatives. Additionally, you earn contribution points when you complete tasks. Contribution points can be exchanged for spiritual items. Spiritual items are also one of your paths for advancement. Of course, if you refuse to join us, we also won't be overly distracted. But the premise is, you must obey the law. It cannot rely on senior ability to harm others. As long as you sign the agreement, you can treat it as nothing happened today. We will take you back. After saying these words, she quietly looked at me. Obviously, they were waiting for my answer. I rubbed my brow, pretending to think seriously for a moment. He finally spoke. I join you. Liu Yi seemed to have anticipated my answer. Class. He showed no surprise. Minute spoke with a small saying. We welcome you to join us. Hope you can do it in the future. Together we protect our country and compatriots. By the way, what is your ability? I snapped my fingers. The next second, a black shadow slowly rose from beneath my feet. Seeing this, the elder Bingming stood up immediately. Can you control your own shadow? Interesting. What else do I need to do next? No need for that. You are free to leave now. After a while, your ID and communication equipment will be provided to you by a dedicated person. Even if we don't contact you, just live your normal life. I nodded in Wenyang. The next moment, everyone saw my figure vanish from where I stood. Up in the sky, I looked down at the buildings below. No one could have imagined this. The headquarters of the Transcendent is actually located in a secluded mountain wilderness. While I was surveying the headquarters, below, 3 gazes were also watching him. The headquarters of Chaofanja truly hides its dragons in bed. Inside the conference room, a middle-aged man in military uniform. He looked at Old Mouth in surprise. Old Chin, this kid can actually fly. What's there to make a fuss about? His abilities are very special. It should be the body. Blending into the shadows and flying. He was a promising prospect. Returning from the headquarters of Chaofanja, it had already been 20 days. During this period, I had nothing to do every day. During the day, he went out looking for work and wandered around. At night, he steadily cultivated to improve his strength. And the first Ling Yuan bone inside me, it has grown to its limit, unable to absorb the person's power anymore. Next up is the preparation to break through the second term. I began to unleash all my strength, gather it a bit, surging toward a withered branch of the guide's tree. A withered branch irrigated by a powerful force. Gradually, changes began to appear. A tender bud gradually emerges like a withered tree reviving spring. It then evolved into a flower bud. He wanted to nurture a second spirit source fruit. It requires not only the power of the extraordinary person themselves. Floating is strong enough. He also had to harness the powerful primordial power the tree forcibly instilled in the guide. Once this process fails, it will be for the countdown and the supernatural. It causes great harm on its own. No one knew how much time had passed. Finally, one was born on the countdown. It looks fragile and tempting. Even so, I can feel it too. It is by no means weaker. The first mature spiritual source fire. The next afternoon, Shu Wei made a call. He arranged to meet me at a cafe. Congratulations. They should be held responsible. After your superiors evaluate and discuss your situation, headquarters has rated you as a B-level transcendent. Enjoy a monthly bonus of 500,000 yuan. Additionally, headquarters officially appointed you as the new director, the person in charge of Ozu City. I will fully assist you with your work. In a sense, you count as Ozu City, the person with the greatest power, a level by transcendent. I wasn't surprised by this. After all, I deliberately guided them. They only know that my ability is shadow, but you can't guess its darkness at all. If nothing else, I withdrew. There is one more thing. Recently, a new extraordinary individual has appeared in Daisho City, but he was very strange. Every night at 9 o'clock, he will always be on the street, waiting for a middle-aged woman to get off work. Neither wealth nor color, just to slap his face, until middle-aged women faint. According to the person involved, no matter what he asks for, or how to beg for mercy, he refused to accept any of them. It was as if she simply wanted to hit him. Given his behavior, it has already seriously threatened ordinary people. So I never hope for that. You, the person in charge, he could reach out and catch him. If necessary, they can also be killed. This task is worth 30 contribution points. Here contribution points. I shook my head inwardly. The greatest contribution value. Actually, it's not about exchanging items, but rather secretly working from the upper echelons. A key factor in the tranquil and extraordinary mindset. The more contribution points you have, the more extraordinary you become. Naturally, It is valued and cultivated by the upper class. After all, who doesn't like it? A responsible, extraordinary person. Send me the address. I'll handle it myself. As soon as he finished speaking, I got up and left the cafe directly. Now I earn a monthly salary of 500,000. It's time to fulfill my promise to Sister Tang. I arrived at a famous villa district in Ozu City, Shulu Department, Xinghu Huapan Community. When she passed by this neighborhood before, Zheng said to me with a smile, "You say they live here, isn't that happy?" So in my previous life, after I became an extraordinary being, he bought her a villa as a gift. At that moment, a beautiful saleswoman, upon seeing me, he immediately came forward to greet me. "Sir, looking at houses? The scenery by the flowers in Xinghu is beautiful. It is a high-end residential area in Ozu City, surrounding supporting facilities, and greening the environment. All of them are the best. I want H03. You really have good taste." H03 is the best located villa. The building area is 413 square meters. If you pay in full, it costs 9.65 million. After hearing the price, I called Xu Wei directly. "Lend me 10 million. Zheng Yonglan lying on the sofa with Xu Wei. "Hear this amount." Her red lips instantly parted. 10 million. Are you sure it's not $1,000? What do you take me for? Top-tier additional heiress, huh? My voice sounded slightly displeased. "If you don't have one, forget it. I'll find someone else to meet." Xu Wei gripped her phone tightly. Caught in a dilemma, he really couldn't come up with 10 million himself, but he can look for family members. He was just struggling with whether it was necessary. Bringing 10 million to please me, a supernatural person he doesn't understand. But even if he didn't see him, there are definitely plenty of people willing to meet him. Wait a moment, I need time to make up the difference. Afterwards, Xu Wei told his father, Xu Lingxiao, about the incident. "Dad, that's exactly the situation. Do you think it's necessary?" Xu Lingxiao directly interrupted Xu Wei. "This amount of money is nothing compared to a supernatural being. I'll transfer the money to you right away. Xiao Wei, you must remember, able to get money and a supernatural. There aren't many opportunities to make friends. In the future, our Xu family wants to continue its prosperity and wealth. He had to firmly win over the extraordinary ones. Xiao Wei, you're not young anymore. While Ning Xiaoyan was still young, find a chance to get her drunk. That way, she could be tied to our family. Do you understand?" "Dad, what nonsense are you talking about?" After Xu Wei hung up the phone, her face unknowingly turned empty. After receiving the transfer from her father, he immediately transferred the money over. Meanwhile, my phone chimed for my bank card. I handed my bank card to the saleswoman to swipe it. From beginning to end, saleswoman Zhu Lily felt as if she were dreaming. Once everything was settled, she asked in confusion, "Mr. Ning, forgive me for asking presumptuously. On the property certificate, are you sure you only wrote Ning Xiaoxin's name?" "That's right, just write her name." Zhu Lily in classical Chinese, feeling inexplicably drawn to Ning Xiaoxin. A faint sense of jealousy arose within him. She felt that with her figure and looks, she could do it. "Mr. Ning, thank you for helping me complete my performance. If you can, I want to invite you to my place for a meal. I have a bottle of Maotai that I've treasured for a long time. I want you to help me taste it. Not sure if it's possible." In the end, her head was almost buried in her chest. However, things were different from what she had imagined. No one responded to her words. When she looked up ahead, my figure had long since disappeared. 9 o'clock in the evening, near an industrial area, Ma Xiaomei rides an electric bike. His hands trembled uncontrollably. During this period, no matter which route she took home, she would be beaten, and everyone else is fine. She couldn't understand why she had encountered such a situation. She looked around, worried that the thug might suddenly appear from some corner again. At that moment, a man wearing a bullhead mask, suddenly, he appeared in front of his electric bike. Even when he wore a mask, you can also feel his wicked smile. It was right by the roadside not far from them. A car was parked. Xu Wei was wearing headphones, eating chips. His gaze still lingered on Ma Xiaomei. He came to the scene because he certainly didn't want him to try to win over this extraordinary being. At this moment, Ma Xiaomei, he collapsed to the ground, begging desperately for mercy. "Big brother, please, stop hitting me. Let me go." His voice was filled with fear and despair. The man in the bull mask was indifferent to her pleas for mercy. He seemed quite happy to be involved in it. She raised her right hand high. Just as he was about to slap the woman hard, she immediately sensed a hint of danger. She saw a shadow out of the corner of her eye. She just stared into my gaze from afar. A cold sweat involuntarily broke out on his spine, just as she was about to let Ma Xiaomei go and leave. But then he heard this sentence. "Slap her. You'd better slap her unconscious. Otherwise, I'll knock you out." The man in the bull mask let out a strange laugh. She slapped Marzumation with a single ear, knocking him out. Good friends. We have no grudges or grudges. I was kind to her because of personal grudges. So today, let's pretend we never saw it. How about that? I have no objections. But this beauty, it seems like I have something I want to say to you. At this moment, Xu Wei also got out of the car. We are official staff. I just want to ask you a few questions. I hope you can cooperate. The masked man only glanced at Xu Wei, then he looked at me cautiously. After careful consideration, she eventually agreed. Xu Wei first asked him a few questions. She wanted to know when the other person hit a woman's eyes. How did the other person's extraordinary abilities come about? It turned out that the masked man and Ma Xiumei were subordinates, because during work hours, she was often targeted by Ma Xiumei. That's why he thought of taking revenge on the other side in this way. And the source of extraordinary power. He sent him a set of medicinal herbs from his grandfather back home. After Xu Wei listened, only 4 words remained in his heart. Resenting heaven's disrespect. Becoming extraordinary is just a dream in the hearts of so many. Of course, that includes himself. One last question. Are you willing to join the official department? Doing something for the country with their own strength. There are many benefits to joining the official team. There was a lot of money, and he also has an impressive status. From now on, you no longer need to work in a factory. The man, Wen Yang, decisively shook his head and refused. Although I am not very educated, but my grandmother taught me from a young age, there's no such thing as a fresh pancake falling from the sky. I now earn 4,000 yuan a month. I think it's pretty good. What a joyful contentment is. This guy looked silly. Actually, she's very clever inside. It's fine if you don't want to join, but your actions have already hurt ordinary people. Tomorrow, someone will take you to headquarters. Undergo some training for a period of time. The man frowned. What you mean? Whether you join or not, I'm going to the headquarters you talk about. That's right. After all, your actions have already been done. Xu Wei hadn't finished speaking. A man not far away suddenly picked her up. Her body shot toward Xu Wei like a bullet, but her fist stopped just an inch away from Xu Wei. Let her wield her power. He was also unable to move an inch, because a pitch-black phantom was entwined around her. After Xu Wei came to her senses, his legs involuntarily took a few steps back. His face turned much paler. She couldn't understand why the other party suddenly made a move. Every discovered extraordinary being, you will be invited to the headquarters to register information and sign agreements. All this is done for the sake of social stability. Why do you want to kill me? None of you so-called official personnel are any good. When this woman bullies me at work, why don't you arrest her? Now I finally have the power to take revenge. You came looking for me. Don't even think I'll go with you to any headquarters, brother. You are clearly an extraordinary person too. Why are you willing to work for them? You haven't experienced that kind of helplessness when black and white are turned upside down. Take my advice. Draw a clear line with them. This world is so vast. The two of us joined forces. Where could he not go? A faint smile appeared at the corner of my Wen Yang mouth. There is no such thing as black or white in this world. You just need to be strong enough. So if you say it's black, then it's black. To put it plainly, it's white. The man frowned. He knew he couldn't persuade him anymore. He then harbored murderous intent again. But in the next moment, a pitch-black spear, it shot out from under Xu Wei's feet. A diameter pierced through the man's skull. This is the ability of the second tier of the Dark Bell. Jade Shadow can control all shadows within its range. Blood covered Xu Wei's face. This was his first close encounter with a dead person, and in the form of dismemberment. He bent down and vomited. You could have restrained him. Why kill him? Xu Wei. Oh Xu Wei, you are defined by your identity. It constricts thinking. This person has experienced pain. Yet another low-class commoner without an education. Once he was spared, the future will inevitably become a source of instability. Just like just now, if I hadn't acted in time, you are very likely a corpse. If you don't thank me for saving your life, fine. And even turned around and questioned me. Also, you're just my assistant. I still have no right to question me. There will be a next time. Just get out of Dazhou City. My figure stopped in midair and vanished. Xu Wei stood there in a daze. Those words just now, it pierced his heart like a blade. Just then, her earpiece was hearing Liu Yi's voice. Xiaowei and Ning Xiaoyan are right. Although her methods were somewhat ruthless and decisive, but the outcome of her resolution was not wrong. There are many things you will gradually understand. At the headquarters of the Transcendent, Liu Yi took off his headphones. He walked gloomily to the window. Before Ning Xiaoyan killed someone, nor did he ask headquarters for their opinion. She no longer cared about us. A young man also came over. I actually think she did the right thing. If such a person were to be brought back, Minister, you going to let him go or not? To kill or not to kill? Let it go. Such people are fundamentally resistant to the authorities. Sooner or later, they will go against the country. If you kill him, he hadn't committed any serious crime. If you lock him up, other extraordinary beings will definitely feel uncomfortable. After all, these people are all quite arrogant. Then you, Zheng Guang, must consider yourself extraordinary. Zheng Guang quickly raised both hands. Indicates that he is an exception. Minister, you really know how to joke. I, Zheng Guang, am ready to give my life for the country and the people at any time. Then let me ask you, since ancient times, dynasties have been destroyed by foreign enemies. Do you know why people within the royal family, they all fought desperately, and those who desire Longhua's wealth and honor because of imperial favor, yet many surrendered and rebelled? You mean, a sense of belonging? Liu Jian nodded. You come from a military family, so naturally, you are with the country. There is an inseparable sense of belonging. Ning Xiaoyan had been young since childhood. Then he would have no father or mother, and she was smart. His abilities are also impressive. I want to be in such a place. In the minds of the wise, it builds an inseparable sense of belonging. It's very difficult to achieve. Meanwhile, Ying Xinshin looked at me in shock. Standing in front of her at this moment was a person, a humanoid figure made of shadows. Sis, now you should believe me. The world has changed. It will appear in the future. All sorts of strange creatures and things. So the villa you just mentioned, it really is a gift from the state. Yes, and there's still a salary of 500,000. You don't have to work anymore. Buy whatever you like. From now on, there's no need to envy them. Those wealthy young ladies on TV. But on Ning Xiaoxin's face. But there was no happy smile on his face. Instead, it was a deep sense of sorrow and unease. Xiaoyan, you can earn such a high salary. It must be dangerous while working as well. I don't want to live that kind of life. Now I am very satisfied. You shouldn't work for them either. At this moment, Ning Xiaoxin's words, I just joined in my previous life. It was exactly the same as what the transcendent headquarters had said. Everyone in this world changes. Only this girl remained unchanged. Sis, I've already been targeted. It's not about living whatever I want. There was no turning back on this path. If you quit, you're dead. He ordered Xie Wenyang to give up. Later, he moved away. He even specially requested 2 days off from the company. During the move, Li Biao from the loan company once came to collect debts, but they want to take money from my pocket. It's almost impossible. A little lesson. He drove them back. After Li Biao returned, he vaguely sensed that I was a bit puzzled, so he used his connections to have someone investigate my identity. You wouldn't know until you checked. Upon investigation, it was shocking. Even the local security bureau chief didn't have the authority to check my identity. He was quite puzzled. Why would someone like this come to borrow money from him? At this moment, inside the villa in Xinghuhuapan, Ning Xiaoxin celebrated her move to a new home. He specially prepared a big table full of dishes. While eating, I handed my bank card to Ning Xiaoxin. Sis, you shouldn't work anymore. I need your help here. What the extraordinary comes into contact with later. These are things ordinary people can't even imagine. And we have more time. It needs to be used for cultivation or to complete tasks. So, I need a trustworthy assistant. Except for you, I don't trust anyone. This time, Xiaoxin didn't refuse. He quickly agreed. A month passed in the blink of an eye. During this period, Zhu Wei seemed to have vanished. The official team has never released any missions. Only at the beginning of the month did 500,000 yuan be transferred to my card on time, reminding me of my current identity. But today, Zhu Wei suddenly received an empty phone call. You are responsible. Headquarters just sent a message. Urgently summon all transcendents. Attend a very important conference. I've already prepared the plane for you. If all is fine, please set off immediately. Hearing Zhu Wei's words, I narrowed my eyes slightly. An event suddenly flashed through his mind. The head nurse's outbreak. This was the first time a transcendent and clan had appeared before ordinary people. But that incident was supposed to happen a year later. Why was it moved up early? Inside the conference room of the transcendent headquarters, Liu Yi slowly spoke holding a tablet. What you hear next is all of the highest level. If leaked, it will be considered treason. Of course, I firmly believe that none of you here would make such a mistake. Then, Liu Yi played a video. A middle-aged man appears in the footage. He looked around in terror. His voice trembled violently. Report to headquarters. I found that monster. But I was discovered too. The last time I found them. It is near the Huangyu Hotel. You are investigating outward from this location. You will definitely find it. Finally, Please treat my family kindly at headquarters. The scene ends here. The man in the video is named Liu Xing. He was sent by headquarters to investigate one of the extraordinary beings of the Code 03 massacre. Soon after, Liu Yi posted another photo, a bizarre creature that was completely incomprehensible. He swept over 600 people in a certain village. This alien being, we have been investigating for 4 years. During this time, we kept surrounding him, but in the end, he escaped with them all, until the night before last. Only then did Liu Xing relock onto his position. This time, I have called you all here, all to eliminate them. At that moment, a transcendent named Zhong Yu stood up. Minister Liu, if only I had known in advance that it was about this. I definitely won't come. As far as I know, the 2003 tragedy 2 years ago. At that time, more than 100 first-tier transcendents were dispatched, and more than 3,000 special forces, and the other party was alone. Minister Liu, do I still need to say the result? Liu Yi simply answered calmly. 68 transcendents died in battle. 10 people were seriously injured. 34 people escaped. 3,420 special forces soldiers were killed in action. 235 people were seriously injured or disabled. No one escaped. I understand your concerns. Back then, we underestimated his abilities, and according to Liu Xing's intelligence, he was no longer alone. But in the past 2 years, we've had more and more strong players. There are quite a few second-tier transcendent ones. Most importantly, you are not the main combatants of the operation this time. Instead, it serves as peripheral aid. Zhong Yuan sneered. Minister Liu, forgive my insufficient ability. I won't be participating in this operation. He got up and prepared to leave the meeting room. Many people in the seat heard Zhong Yu's words. He was also determined to withdraw. But just then, an elderly man walked into the conference room leaning on a cane. He clearly wore a smile, but it moves from the heart. A mysterious shadow rises. Liu Yi saw the newcomer. He greeted him respectfully. Then he looked at Zhong Yu again. If you want to withdraw from this operation, that's fine. But you will be removed from headquarters. Being removed from the list means no longer enjoying special treatment, and you'll be constantly supervised by headquarters. Zhong Yuan only thought for a moment. In just a moment, the answer was given. You guys have no idea at all how terrifying that clan is. If I leave headquarters, I won't be unable to survive. I'm just an extraordinary being. It's still because the sky is high and birds can fly freely. Minister Liu, I won't hold you back. I chose to launch it. After hearing the answer, Liu Yi said. Several photos were shown on the big screen. Zhong Yu, since you're not a member of the headquarters right now, then you will be a folk transcendent. He was placed under investigation by headquarters, relying on their own abilities. Mijian women use drugs and assault others. He also had sexual relations with underage girls. If you are an ordinary person, he would have been executed long ago, just because you are a transcendent. That's why we turn a blind eye. Now you need your ability to save people, but you are unwilling to put in effort. Then what's the use of keeping you around? Zhong Yu was trembling with anger. He saw this scene. Knowing he was in the wrong, he turned and prepared to leave. Old Qin, who had been silent all along, actually moved. He gently raised the staff in his hand. Then he knocked hard. Zhong Yu felt as if he had lost control of himself, unable to move. And that's not all. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw old Qin tapping the surgical staff again. At this moment, he already felt the fear of death. Zhong Yu's pupils suddenly locked tightly. Blood then kept flowing from the corner of his mouth, and wept loudly once. His whole body went limp on the ground. Not long after, he passed away. This scene happened too quickly. Everyone stared at old Qin in shock. I don't understand how the other person actually manages it, so easily killing a transcendent. I observed the diligence on stage in T-Mai's life. He has developed this ability to the extreme. Its strength is in no way weaker than that of an S-rank transcendent. He is backed by the nation, possesses powerful cultivation resources. He should be at the 3rd tier now. Then my gaze turned to Huaxia, the first S-rank transcendent, Zhuo Qingyu. Zhuo Qingyu felt a strange gaze, looking toward the back, puzzled. He just glanced at me, so he turned back. Seeing an old friend deeply etched in your heart once again. My heart wasn't in turmoil. If no one quits, then the meeting continues. Stay tuned for the upcoming explanation of the characteristics of the alien race. None of us knows. Why did the alien race appear on Blue Star? But after research, we found that the way they become stronger is different from that of supernaturals. They seem to have gone by over time, gradually becoming stronger, and the human heart, it also gives them a small amount of strength. This is also why they reveal their humanity. About their capabilities, we only know about it so far. It can change its own form, They can take on the appearance of anyone. The only good news is, they cannot be judged by appearances, to distinguish between ordinary people and extraordinary beings, and those who transcend the ordinary. Yet it can be achieved through a unique sensing system, to confirm who the outsiders are beside them. Each of you is a task. All of these are stored within communication devices, comrades who have confirmed the task. You can leave here, heading to their respective mission locations. I opened my communicator to check the task. The mission content is in this way, centered around the head nurse's fame and fortune high school, exploring within a radius of 10,000 li, possible abnormal situations, protecting student safety at critical moments. The communicator can also use positioning functions. Lock onto the extraordinary who needs support. 2 days later, I was sitting at the cold drink stand across from Mingli High School, sipping milk tea at the same time, while playing match 3 games. At the same time, he didn't forget to observe the students returning home from school. One of them had her hair tied in a ponytail. A girl with outstanding temperament. It caught my attention. Strangely, it was the first time Mingli had seen this girl, but it felt very familiar. At that very moment, a luxury off-road vehicle stopped in front of the girl. A man and a woman got out of the car. The man said with a very attentive look, joyfully, "I know a really fun place. Later, you and your sister come play together." A barely noticeable trace of disgust appeared in Xie Xinran's eyes. "No need to go out for fun. Thank you for bringing me to pick up Xiaomeng. Otherwise, I definitely won't make it in time. Anyway, it's all on the way. If anyone wants to blame the taxi driver. Crashed your car. But we really are destined. I met you not long after I returned to China. Let's get together tonight." Xie Xinran saw that the other party was unwilling to leave. Feeling quite helpless, he couldn't speak too harshly. After all, the other party had just helped his childhood friend. Xie Meng noticed the awkward atmosphere. He took her sister's hand and walked toward the cold drink beach across the street. "And then you have to drink this." At this moment, Cold Drink Beach was out of school, surrounded by students. Seeing this, Song Minglang immediately followed. "Xiaomeng, you want some milk, don't you? Brother Minglang will buy it for you." Xie Meng ignored him. Instead, after ordering 2 cups of freshly squeezed fruit from the owner, he sat right in front of the only table. "Watch me play match 3. Xiaolong, please add another glass of juice." The stall owner heard this. His movements involuntarily sped up a bit. "All right, there are more than 10 classmates ahead of you. You may need to wait about 20 minutes. It takes so long to hear." Song Minglang was a bit displeased. 20 minutes is too long. "I'll transfer you 1,000 yuan. You help us make 3 cups first." Xie Xinran heard this. A nameless anger welled up in his heart. He rose in pain. "Song Minglang, if you don't want to wait, you can go back first." "Xinran, you don't need to worry about it. In this world, nothing money can't buy. It's just a matter of extra or less." The stall owner was also taken aback. It seems she can sense it. Their own dignity is insulted. "My rules here. You just have to wait in line. Or, you can also buy from other stalls." Song Minglang wasn't angry at that. Instead, he smiled at the stall owner, giving a thumbs up. 100,000. "First, make it triple for us. I'll give you 10 seconds to think." After passing through this village, this shop is gone. The countdown kept ringing in the stall owner's ears. In the end, he gritted his teeth and agreed. "All right, I'll make it for you first." "Classmates in the back, please wait a moment. Today, I'm treating you to milk tea." The students around heard this. He was instantly overjoyed. Xie Xinran said with a face full of disgust. He looked at Song Mingyang who was transferring money nearby. He walked over to the table. Just as he was about to take his sister's hand and leave, he actually saw a familiar face. Meanwhile, I also looked up at Xie Xinran. "Miss Xinran, what a coincidence. We met again." Xie Xinran felt a bit nervous and uneasy. "Yeah, senior, what a coincidence. I want to thank you properly. You don't have to call me senior. We are about the same age. Just call me Ning Xiaoyan." Just then, Song Minglang walked over carrying 3 glasses of juice. When he saw the 2 of us chatting and laughing, a trace of displeasure flashed in his eyes. Joyfully, "Is this your friend? How come I've never seen him before?" Xie Xinran ignored Song Minglang beside her. "Brother Ning, let's meet again next time." "Xie Meng, let's go." I glanced at the girl who had just been sitting beside me. So she was Xie Meng. Song Minglang watched the departing figures of the 2 women. The smile on his face gradually darkened. He threw the 3 glasses of juice he had just bought for 100,000 yuan into the trash bin. He turned and questioned me. Upon hearing this, King Ming of Song breathed in unison. The stimulating body trembles. With just these words, he could imagine the scene at that time. But the male lead is not him. Naturally, I saw through their thoughts. From the very beginning, I looked at him with the expression of a clown, but this expression deeply wounded his pride. Just as he raised his fist, just as he was about to punch me in the face, but found his own body, it stopped uncontrollably on the spot, just like a patient under general anesthesia. The only difference is, his mind was very clear, but he quickly sensed it. It's not that simple. The people around her, Song Minglang, looked like a robot heading toward the street, and at this time, Shisha was during the rush hour. Vehicles were constantly passing through, and just then, Song Minglang's body began turmoil beyond one's control. What's going on? What happened? No, Song Minglang's consciousness was incredibly clear. His body began to turn and walk toward the roadside, but he couldn't control it in the slightest. He couldn't even open his mouth to speak. He seemed like an outsider. He watched helplessly as his body walked toward the side of the road. Then I walked all the way to the bus stop. It was the peak of the evening rush hour. Many workers and students are waiting for the bus at the bus stop. Song Minglang stood among the crowd. He just stood quietly waiting. Around him, several young girls secretly glanced at this height. A man with outstanding looks. As time flew by, traffic flowed endlessly on the road. Soon, the sound of brakes sounded. A bus stopped at the bus stop. The car door slowly opened. Many people began to board the bus in an orderly fashion. Song Minglang still stood quietly like a statue. The bus driver saw that he had no intention of getting on, so he closed the car door. The creaking sound of the handbrake loosening rang out. The bus wheels began to turn slowly. At this moment, a young girl was waiting for the next bus. Gathering his courage, he gently patted Song Minglang. She wanted to ask him for her contact information. However, the young girl's hand had just touched Song Minglang. He crawled toward the ground with a whoosh. At this moment, Song Minglang seemed like one. He seemed like someone deliberately seeking death. He stuffed his own head into it. Below the newly started bus, then came the huge wheel. Almost without any resistance, he twisted it around. Bang! The watermelon fell to the ground. The sound of fragments rang out. A middle-aged woman on the bus stop just bought watermelons, because witnessing this terrifying scene fell from his hand to the ground. Then the entire bus stop. A scream erupted instantly. A piercing alarm sounded. Police cars and ambulances then roared past. Next to the cold drink stall, a student said to a companion beside him. Someone in the group said, "A bus ahead had hit and killed someone. Let's go check it out." A busy middle-aged vendor, Wen Yang, glanced at it in surprise. The road straight ahead. How strange. I haven't heard of it in over 10 years. The bus hit someone, let alone killing someone directly. He shook his head and sighed, watching as the sky gradually darkened. There was hardly any sound either. The middle-aged vendor began wrapping up the day. "By the way, bro," the middle-aged man cleaned up the house. On one hand, it was all about casually chatting with Ming Xiaoyan. "You say this guy is strange. Today, I made 100,000 yuan. He should be very happy, but for some reason, I couldn't feel happy at all." Ning Xiaoyong glanced at her. He spoke calmly. "Why think so much? Money can bring you a good life. Dignity can only bring you comfort in yourself." The middle-aged greedy Lord Wen Yang paused with the rag in his hand. She looked at Ning Xiaoyan and asked tentatively, "Bro, if it's you, you'll definitely choose money too, right? After all, who doesn't want money?" Ning Xiaoyan put the drink cup in front of her. "Throw it in the trash." Then he stood up and said one word. "No." The middle-aged greedy Lord Wen Yang's expression changed. Then he felt a wave of shame inside. Unexpectedly, the young man was actually willing to give up 100,000 yuan just for his dignity. Compared to him, I really am. Just as the middle-aged vendor felt a bit regretful, Ning Xiaoyan, who had turned to leave, spoke up again. "I want it all." The middle-aged vendor silently probed Ning Xiaoyan's back. Originally, he planned to wait for Ning Xiaoyan to come back tomorrow. The idea of giving him a free order vanished into thin air. Not long after, just as the middle-aged vendor finished packing his things, preparing to ride home on a tricycle, several police officers brought 2 students to him. "Is it here?" The police questioned the student beside him. "That's right, police officer. That person bought the juice here." After listening to the students, the police looked at the middle-aged vendor. He glanced again at the tricycle beside him. He gave a signal to his companion beside him. The other 3 police officers stopped and stepped forward. He started rummaging through the tricycle. "What are you doing?" "Stalls are allowed here. I paid the booth fee. The middle-aged vendor wanted to stop him, but the leading officer reached out to stop him. The other party pulled up a photo from their phone. Then he showed it to him and said, "We are from the Songnan District Police Station. This person bought a drink from you not long ago, right?" The middle-aged vendor was stunned when he saw Song Minglang's photo in the picture. Then he nodded. "That's right. He came here not long ago, bought triple juice." The police watched his expression. He spoke as he spoke. He died. It was just 200 meters ahead at the bus stop. He was at the start of the bus. He lay under the wheels himself and was run over to death by the wheels. The middle-aged vendor was momentarily stunned upon hearing this. Then his face was full of disbelief. Song Minglang would never commit suicide, even if the way he died was suicide. The police officer continued. "So now we need to investigate today. Everything related to him. Meet other police officers." He kept rummaging through his tricycle. The middle-aged vendor spoke with a bitter expression. "Police officers, I have no grudge against him. You won't doubt it. I was the one who drugged the drink. That's probably why he died." The lead officer glanced at him. "No one said you drugged him. This is just a normal exclusion check." The sky grew darker and darker. Seeing that he couldn't find anything while searching, the police used the excuse of needing to test the beverage components, took the entire tricycle away. Of course, the middle-aged vendor also took the vendor away. The rooftop of Fame and Fortune High School. Ning Xiaoyan stared expressionlessly at the scene below. Song Minglang was dead. The Song family definitely wouldn't let it go easily, and if the investigation fails to uncover the truth, so this middle-aged stall owner is the culprit. Keep in mind, he still had 100,000 yuan for drinks that Song Minglang had transferred to him. After all, a clear-headed and normal person, who would spend 100,000 yuan on 3 juice drinks? Thinking of this, Ning Xiaoyan glanced at the night sky. Then he sat cross-legged. "Let's start today's breathing exercises. The primordial power invisible to the naked eye in the darkness of heaven and earth is drawn by it." Then it merged into Ning Xiaoyan's body, absorbed by the countdown. During this more than month, Ning Xiaoyan climbed the tree and found the second Ling Yuan fruit growing even stronger. At the current pace, relying on herself to cultivate step by step, trying to break through to the third tier. It will take at least another 6 months. The speed is still a bit slow, because some things happened ahead of schedule. A sense of urgency rose in Ning Xiaoyan's heart. Transcendents elevate their own realm, aside from his own accumulated cultivation, and the devouring spiritual creatures, a way to speed up cultivation. But spiritual objects will be rare even after hundreds of years. It is the extraordinary who go mad for it. The treasure of virtual knowledge like a thing, especially at this hour. Although headquarters didn't explicitly state how many spiritual items it possessed, but Ning Xiaoyan could judge based solely on her own experience. There aren't many spiritual items left in the headquarters right now, and these spiritual items were basically meant for those backgrounds. Powerful supernaturals use it. For example, Old Qing. Another example is Suo Qing Yu. At the very least, it should be rewarded to those extraordinary individuals who make significant contributions. As for Ning Xiaoyan now, it was simply impossible to obtain spiritual items from the headquarters, unless she finds a way to make headquarters have to send it to her. Time passed slowly. Late at night, Fame and Fortune in high school are full of memorization. It was already 1 a.m. Ning Xiaoyan got up and stretched her body. Then he disappeared completely on the rooftop. In the past 2 days, she passes the time during the day, investigate the surroundings at night, look for possible anomalies, although she knew what would happen next. But Ning Xiaoyan, who had been reborn, she was even more cautious than in her previous life. She would never allow anything unexpected to affect her. In the darkness, Ning Xiaoyan flew off in one direction. When she passed by a street, suddenly, Ning Xiaoyan felt something watching her. His figure suddenly hovered midair. Ning Xiaoyan looked down. The streets illuminated by streetlights below were empty. Only a few stray dogs were searching for food everywhere. Seeing this scene, Ning Xiaoyan frowned. Indeed, a living creature had just been watching her. You have to understand, she was high up in the sky. It was even late at night, so it was impossible to see her with the naked eye. After waiting a while, that feeling of being watched never returned. Ning Xiaoyan turned her gaze to the stray dogs, seeing that these dogs were nothing unusual. Then she left. About half an hour later, a yellow dog next to the trash bin pulled out the food from its mouth. Then, this one looks quite ordinary. Some skinny mutts. He let out a deep sigh, talking to himself. Really a rile dog. What the hell was that guy just now, flying around in the middle of the night? If I had looked back a little later, it might have been discovered. Thinking of this, the big yellow dog instinctively looked up at the sky again. Just this one glance, it was nearly scared out of its wits. because Ning Xiaoyan had somehow come back again. At this moment, it stands high in the sky. He was looking down at the big yellow dog. A cold smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Wang Dahuang exclaimed in surprise. He hurriedly ran on all fours, like a wasp darting into an alley. It twists and turns in all directions. They wanted to take advantage of the intricate terrain, avoiding Ning Xiaoyan's gaze. However, as the big yellow dog ran, it started to feel less close, because its limbs gradually became out of her control. The big yellow dog cursed. It was utterly horrified. He watched helplessly as he uncontrollably ran back the way he came. Under the street lights, Ning Xiaoyan stood quietly there. Before long, the big yellow dog came up to it with a face full of terror. Looking at this dog's complicated expression, Ning Xiaoyan was also a bit surprised. Some domestic animals eat spiritual species, an example of becoming a supernatural being. It had also been heard in the previous life, but he had never seen it with his own eyes. Return to its roots. It was this kind of extraordinary creature without intelligence. After gaining power, they don't know how to use it, so they often die unexpectedly in various other ways. For example, trying to run, but because he rushed down too hard, fell off a cliff and died, falling into the river, drowning, or collapsing to death. But the big yellow dog before her was different from the extraordinary creatures Ning Xiaoyan had in her mind, because it would peek at itself. There will be fear, and will flee. Even its eyes can express its current state of mind. All these signs indicate that this dog is intelligent. Thinking of this, Ning Xiaoyan looked at the big yellow dog in front of her. He spoke. Next, I will lift the restraint on you, ask you a few things. If you can understand, then don't run away. If you escape. Speaking of which, Ning Xiaoyan glanced sideways not far away. A stray dog eating something. The next moment, that stray dog had actually been silent and unnoticed, cut into a pile of minced meat. If you escape, I would think you don't understand what I'm saying. Then your fate will be the same as his. Listening to Ning Xiaoyan's words, seeing what had just happened, the big yellow dog's body trembled. Shadowy images that the big yellow dog couldn't see, flowing from within his body, blending into the night. Then, it can feel as if it has regained control of its own body. He forcibly suppressed his four legs that wanted to escape. The big yellow dog sprang up by force. Ning Xiaoyan sat down and wept as she spoke. Your Majesty, spare my life. I've never done anything bad. My heart knows goodness. Heaven and earth are visible. Ning Xiaoyan looked at the dog speaking in front of her, a bit surprised. You can talk. Yes, it will. Your Majesty. The younger one originally only understood and didn't know how to speak, but as a stray dog, I lived on this street for a year, constantly listening to people talk, and sometimes, in the trash bin, you can dig through some discarded books to look through. And because of this, gradually, I learned human language. The words spoken by the big yellow dog, very clear and fluent. Obviously, it's normal for people. There's hardly any difference now. Yin Xiaoyan looked at her in silence for a moment. Then he asked with some interest, do you remember what you ate? Is that why it turned out like this? The big yellow dog, Wen Yang hesitated for a moment. Only then did he speak up a little shyly, so that the king would know. The small one was originally just one strip, an ordinary stray dog. Once, while rummaging through the trash bin, find a small pearl glowing faintly. It seemed like an accident. After eating that little bead, gradually, he became smarter. Hearing this, Lin Xiaoyan sighed with some emotion. That bead-shaped spirit seed. Clearly, someone is treating her as a child's toy. He threw it into the trash. Have you noticed? What special abilities does he have? Lin Xiaoyan looked the big yellow dog up and down as she asked. Special abilities? The big yellow dog seemed to be there, pondering the meaning behind Lin Xiaoyan's words. After a moment, she tentatively began to begin. My speed is fast, and he was very strong. And what else? I have a strong ability to read and learn. Does it count? Ning Xiaoyan nodded. Keep going. I can still do it. In the end, the big yellow dog's eye suddenly emitted a ghostly light. It was only an instant. Ning Xiaoyan, who met his gaze, he felt his mind shake for a moment. He immediately lost consciousness for a short time. The big yellow dog grinned at the scene. Then he suddenly picked her up. He opened his mouth wide. He bit toward Ning Xiaoyan's neck. Damn extraordinary beings. If you catch someone like me, I'll die. I might as well take a gamble. Gallon cars turned into motorcycles. Crack! The big yellow dog's teeth didn't bite Ning Xiaoyan's neck. Instead, it bit onto the shadow that appeared out of thin air in front of Ning Xiaoyan. What the heck is this? Could this thing be her ability? Impossible. I should have controlled her consciousness. Could it be that this guy, in the instant his consciousness went blank, she activated her abilities? No time to think further. The big yellow dog failed in one strike, knowing you won't get a second chance. Then she turned and fled. It was only 3 seconds past. Ning Xiaoyon's dazed eyes suddenly cleared. She looked coldly at the empty ground in front of her. Then he vanished into thin air. Before long, arrived in an empty courtyard. The yellow dog's continuous screams rang out, until dozens of minutes later, a big yellow dog with a swollen head. He knelt before Ning Xiaoyon. He begged for mercy, weeping bitterly. King, stop fighting. I'm convinced, really impressed. Ning Xiaoyon looked at her with murderous intent. He spoke coldly. Let me ask one last time. How did you end up like this? And what are your abilities? The big yellow dog quickly replied. Great king, what I just said is true. I ended up like this. It really is a time of wandering. Ate a glowing bead from a trash can. My abilities are related to consciousness, this ability, but I can make it unforgettable at a glance. She has strong learning abilities. You can also pass through the eyes. Let the minds of those who meet my gaze be clear. Brief deep emptiness. So that's how it is. The abilities of the spirit seed are related to consciousness. No wonder they spend money. Ning Xiaoyon pondered inwardly. Then she continued to ask, a big yellow dog, you just mentioned the supernatural. How do you know about the supernatural? Hearing Ning Xiaoyon's words, the big yellow dog hesitated for a moment. He spoke. It was the head nurse I heard about. This is what you should call internally. I followed that guy for a long time. He was just a useless loser. He didn't notice my dog at all. He often eavesdropped on his conversations nearby. At this point, the big yellow dog gave Ning Xiaoyon a sly, charming smile. This king is formidable. Ning Yuan is in the 1,000-mile sky. I only glanced at you once. You discovered it. After hearing the big yellow dog's words, Ning Xiaoyon looked at him. Suddenly, he asked, since you've been following the head nurse for so long, regarding the current situation of the head nurse, you should be clear too. Those alien beings, do you know where it is? Upon hearing this, the big yellow dog fell silent. And that's not all. There was also a glimmer in her eyes. Fear was hard to hide. A moment later, the big yellow dog nodded in response. Not bad, me. I do know a place. There are beings of foreign races. Take me there. Hearing Ning Xiaoyon's words, the big yellow dog immediately tucked its tail. He shook his head frantically and refused. No, it is not allowed. If you are discovered, surely you will die. By then, I will die too. Don't worry, I just went to take a look. The big yellow dog still wanted to refuse, but when she saw Ning Xiaoyon, after a look filled with murderous intent, instantly crushed, obviously, compared to the one who dies now. Or should we bet on the other side? If you can't find them, it's more cost-effective. Then you have to listen to me. As far as I know, at the very least, they can sense it. All anomalies within 1 kilometer. For example, the transcendent, when using his abilities, the aura that exuded it, and hostility toward them, or staring for extended periods. These words from the big yellow dog. This surprised Ning Xiaoyon a little. She asked, how do you know about this? The big yellow dog's swollen face was on it. A trace of awkwardness flashed across his face. He hesitated for a moment. Only then did she stammer and reply, actually, my ability, although it gave me extraordinary wisdom, but there are also some drawbacks. That is my understanding of some unknown things. He has a strong thirst for knowledge, whether it's knowledge or anything else. Later, for a while, I really can't control my feelings. Curiosity about these beings from beyond Blue Star. So I took the risk and stayed by their side. The intelligence I just shared with you, I only heard them say it by chance. Ning Xiaoyon looked at the dog with a somewhat strange expression. It must be said, although this dog is afraid of death, but it is very bold. Obviously, once, this dog pretended to be an ordinary dog. He had approached those alien beings, and those alien beings didn't notice at all. This extraordinary dog. Thinking of this, Ling Xiaoyon disappeared into the courtyard with her big yellow dog. Under the guidance of the big yellow dog, they soon arrived at a busy downtown area. This location is adjacent to Songnan district. Tall buildings stand all around the area. Unparalleled prosperity. Listen, that's about it. Don't fly forward anymore. As the big yellow dog's startled cry fell, a man and a dog were in the darkness of night, silently appeared on the rooftop of an office building. The big yellow dog's eyes lit up all around. The swollen dog's face was full of nervousness. Then he raised his paw, pointing in one direction. There is a private club there. What you want to see is right there. Ying Xiaoyan carefully adjusted the surroundings. Then his gaze followed the guidance of the big yellow dog. He looked toward a witness nearly 2,000 li away from them. This club is located in a prime location, yet it was surrounded by vast lawns, cut off from the noise. It's easy to imagine the financial strength behind this club. Seeing him keep looking at that place, the big yellow dog quickly whispered a warning not to stare at them for too long, and he couldn't show even a hint of hostility, although we were more than 1,000 meters away from them. But who knows if their range of perception has increased. However, the big yellow dog's words did not make Ling Xiaoyan look away. And that's not all. This made Xiaoyan give a strange smile. He spoke. Don't worry, they are very busy. No time to look at us. What does that mean? Seeing Ling Xiaoyan's strange expression, the big yellow dog's strong curiosity was instantly piqued. He hesitated for a moment. His dog eyes faintly emitted a blue glow, leaving the famous god side to look at the club. As the blurry image before his eyes gradually became clearer, the big yellow dog's eyes instantly widened. Through the club's massive floor-to-ceiling glass, the two of them could see the interior scene with incredible clarity. At this moment, a cigarette party was being held in the club's lobby. Good dear. This. The big yellow dog stared at the scene in shock. I don't know what to say. Compared to him, Ning Xiaoyan's expression was much calmer. 24 people. For men, 20 women. You can tell from the expressions and states of these women. They were manipulated by their minds. Among those 4 men, 2 of them are ordinary people. Then the other 2. It should be the clan you mentioned. Listening to Ning Xiaoyan's words, the big yellow dog looked at her with some shock and disgust. You talk about these women. They were all being manipulated. Ning Xiaoyan nodded. The big yellow dog shook its head and sighed. Then she seemed to remember something. He quickly corrected himself. None of them are as good. After cursing, the big yellow dog carefully looked around the club again. Just as expected, most of the women in the room were no more than 20 floors. Every one of them has a great appearance and figure. Some girls, though their eyes were lifeless, but their faces still showed expressions of pain. Tear stains hung at the corners of her eyes. Just as the big yellow dog was about to say a few more words, what happened next left her puzzled. There was a man with green hair. He extended his right hand. His index finger pressed against his own arms. On the woman's chest, blood slowly seeped out from around his index finger, until the man's entire finger sank into his chest. The man withdrew his fingers. He opened his mouth, looking utterly intoxicated, sucking the heart's blood from his fingers, and the woman in his arms. Even though there was a bloody hole in his chest as thick as an index finger, yet every hint of his finger carries a smile. Like a puppet, after the man sucked the blood off his index finger, he then placed his palm over the woman's chest. Before long, after the man's hand was removed, the blood hole on the woman's chest had long since healed completely. What are they doing? The big yellow dog was shocked by the scene that had just unfolded. When I was following this green-haired guy before, I've never seen him do anything like this. Could it be that he's gotten better? Getting better? Hearing the big yellow dog's words, Ning Xiaoyan let out a series of cold laughs. The wounds you see healed. It was just a trick. These women are just ordinary people with damaged hearts. Within a month, they will surely die. The big yellow dog gasped at these words. I said they used to be lively and devouring. How did it become so gentle now? As you said, they hide their methods. It's getting more and more terrifying. The club's 2 overweight middle-aged men, already out of breath from playing, sweating profusely. Then the 2 of them waddled over to the sofa. She started chatting with a man with his legs crossed. One of them grabbed the hand of the man in front of her. He said with a smile, "Oh my, President Zhong, thank you for the hospitality. If there is any news during this time, we will definitely notify you as soon as possible." Yeah, the above is now about the tasks of the transcendent. The level of secrecy is getting higher and higher. It is no longer possible to obtain accurate information directly. We can only rely on the scattered information available to speculate. Another person downed the expensive red wine in his glass in one gulp. He said with a smile, "It's okay. As long as you both have the intention, that's enough. We will always be friends." President Zhong raised his tall wine glass. He smiled and responded to the 2 of them. Seeing this, the 2 exchanged a few more polite words with the man. Then Zhong Xian personally escorted the 2 to the door, watching them leave in the car. When he returned to the house again, the naked young man with green hair was full of openings. "Brother Zhong, since these 2 pieces of trash are useless, why are you entertaining them like this?" Zhong Xian glanced at the young man upon hearing this. He glanced again at the woman in the room. He then said expressionlessly, "What I do isn't your place to call me. Oh wow, send them back separately as soon as possible." Hearing Zhong Xian's words, the green-haired youth said with a slump in his hand. All right, I'll send them back right away. After the green-haired youth finished speaking, extend your hands and spread your fingers. A faint yellow glow spread from her palm, then until it covers everyone in front. Dear readers, a pleasant night ended here. Everyone returns to their own home. Don't delay your daytime work. As she finished speaking, 20 girls in the room began to dress themselves. Then, like puppets, they walked out one by one. On Tiantai Mountain, Ning Xiaoyan and the big yellow dog silently watched the scene. No one spoke. Why are you just standing there watching? At this very moment, shouldn't he be a hero who saves the damsel in a fit of rage? Just then, a soft, charming voice sounded softly behind Ning Xiaoyan. Ning Xiaoyan suddenly turned around. Not far behind her, someone stood quietly. It was a woman dressed in a black ancient long dress. She veiled her face lightly. It makes it hard to see the face. Only a pair of bright eyes were visible. No matter how vintage the other person looks, or the methods that silently appeared behind Ning Xiaoyan's back, this woman exuded an eerie aura from head to toe. The big yellow dog pretends to be a silly dog on the surface. Inside, I was utterly shocked. She couldn't imagine being so close. If the other side attacks them, the two of them probably didn't even know how they died. Hands hanging down, his fingers curled slightly. Ning Xiaoyan sized up the women from the dark group not far away. His thoughts swirled and echoed in his mind. All the memories about serving her. Just as Ning Xiaoyan was sizing up the women from the black group, the other person was also sizing her up. And at this moment, a strange scene occurred. The moment the woman from the black group saw her face, he actually staggered back several steps in a row. And that's not all. The woman's eyes, which had been smiling, also turned to shock. Her voice was tinged with trembling. Seeing the other party's expression, Ning Xiaoyan frowned. Then he looked at her and asked, "Who are you?" Hearing Ning Xiaoyan's question, the woman from the black group stared at her. After a full half-minute of silence, he often let out a sigh of relief. "Looks like it's time. Go ahead." The woman quietly looked at Ning Xiaoyan again. This time, he watched it with utmost care. Watching this, Ning Xiaoyan felt completely uncomfortable. The next moment, the woman extended her fair, slender fingers. He wanted to touch Ning Xiaoyan's face. The big yellow dog stared blankly at this side. Ning Xiaoyan was also shaken inside, because the other party was so abrupt. He appeared in front of her from more than 10 meters away. The voice of the woman from the black group sounded somewhat puzzled, because her fingers were blocked by an invisible force. The next moment, the woman from the black group suddenly withdrew her hand. He floated backward as well. Meanwhile, on the ground where she had been standing, silently, deep ravines appeared along the tree path. Ning Xiaoyan looked at the group of women in front of her with a dark expression. Her attack was actually lightly dodged by this woman. Looking at Ning Xiaoyan, the woman from the black group first let out a lingering sigh. Then he said, "I mean no harm to you. I don't want to fight you either." Upon hearing this, Ning Xiaoyan did not let down her guard. She still stared at the woman from the dark group. Cold voices seek savor. "Who exactly are you?" The women of the dark group quietly watched Ning Xiaoyan. Then he responded softly, "My name. You can call me Yunqi." Ning Xiaoyan frowned with a hint of jealousy. Think carefully about the name. But he found that he didn't recognize the name at all. "You are not a supernatural, but you don't have any aura of a foreign race either. What exactly are you?" There was a moment of silence. "Not human, nor a foreign race. Could she be a female ghost or a monster?" After hearing Ning Xiaoyan's words, Yunqi chuckled softly and said, "It's too late today. Besides, I don't want to disturb your busy work. If only we could meet again. Let's talk more about it." "Go ahead," Yunqi said, watching Ning Xiaoyan. One side lightly stepped backward. Then he became like a ghost, falling from the rooftop into the darkness, disappearing without a trace. Watching her disappear into the night, the big yellow dog stammered as he asked Ning Xiaoyan, "Is she a monster or a ghost?" Ning Xiaoyan quietly gazed at the night ahead. He shook his head. "No idea." The big yellow dog, Wen Yang, shivered. "This world is really getting crazier and crazier." Ning Xiaoyan glanced down at him. "Meaning is meaningful. It really is getting crazier and crazier. Go ahead." Ning Xiaoyan then disappeared onto the rooftop with the big yellow dog. Once out of the street, Ning Xiaoyan brought the big yellow dog back to where it had been. "You'll be staying here for a while. Not long after, I'll come to you for another task. Don't even think about running away. Otherwise, go ahead." Ning Xiaoyan first glanced at the big yellow dog's shadow on the ground. Then she gave him a smile. That devilish smile. Immediately, the big yellow dog squeezed its tail between its legs. The large yellow dog rose up with human effort. Ning Xiaoyan promised loudly. Ning Xiaoyan nodded in satisfaction. Then he vanished from sight. The next day was the same as expected. As expected, the owner of Bingyin Beach didn't show up. Ning Xiaoyan saw this, so I had to move somewhere else and continue to relax. Just as he was stretching out the lounge chair he had bought, preparing to lie on the school rooftop and bask in the sun, suddenly, the phone ringtone in my pocket rang. He took out his phone to check. It was actually Xie Xinran calling. Ning Xiaoyan had just connected. Xie Xinran's voice came through. Brother Ning, are you free now? I'm at Mingli High School now. Can we meet once? Ning Xiaoyan heard this. A faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. It was earlier than expected. It seemed Xie Xinran already knew her identity. After thinking for a moment, she agreed. All right, name a place. Not long after, inside a private room at a high-end tea house not far from Mingli High School, under the guidance of the waiter, Ning Xiaoyan saw Xie Xinran sitting alone in the private room. Brother Ning. Seeing Ning Xiaoyan appear, Xie Xinran quickly got up. She smiled and greeted him. It doesn't look cheap here. Ning Xiaoyan looked at him and called out. Today, Xie Xinran wore an off-shoulder long dress. This made him look extremely like a cave or grass cave. Brother Ning was joking. If I were the boss here, you came here, I would definitely feel very honored. After Xie Xinran waved her hand to signal the waiter to leave, he personally pulled out a chair for Ning Xiaoyan. He replied with a smile. Go ahead. What do you want from me? After Ning Xiaoyan took her seat, seeing Xie Xinran asked directly, Xie Xinran sat down beside Ning Xiaoyan. While pouring him tea, he said with a smile, to be honest with you, ordered my elder brother. Actually, I knew. You are the extraordinary at headquarters. He's also the person in charge of Daisho City. Ning Xiaoyan holding a teacup. She looked at Xie Xinran with a somewhat surprised expression. How would you know? Xie Xinran's mother poured out her teacup. He said, a bit embarrassed. Actually, I am the eldest daughter of the Xie family. You just entered headquarters. It might not be very clear. My grandfather was Xie Changfeng, that is, the commander of the Southern Military District. In a way, we are all our own people serving the country. Ning Xiaoyan suddenly understood. He smiled and nodded. So that's how it is. No wonder you feel less afraid of me now. So you've already investigated me. Xie Xinran's Wen Yang blushed deeply. Ning Xiaoyan was indeed right. It was after she learned Ning Xiaoyan's identity and past that she had learned about it. Only then did he dispel his inner fear of her. They investigated you without your consent. Brother Ning. Sorry. Xie Xinran looked at Ning Xiaoyan and whispered, no harm. Ning Xiaoyan waved her hands with bare hands. Since they were all on the same side, that's not a big deal. Seeing Ning Xiaoyan's expression remain calm, Xie Xinran also breathed a sigh of relief. After hearing Ning Xiaoyan's words, the smile on her face was even brighter and more captivating. Brother Ning, actually, I called you here today. There is one thing. What is it? Ning Xiaoyan asked angrily. Xie Xinran felt a bit embarrassed. He spoke. Next week is Xiao Meng's coming-of-age ceremony when he turns 18. My grandfather wants to invite you to my home. You saved me. He wants to thank you in person. Thanking them is probably forming cliques. Ning Xiaoyan couldn't help but laugh inwardly. On the surface, he smiled and politely declined. That time was just a casual move. I believe it would be anyone with the ability will step in to save you. It wouldn't require old Master Xie to thank him in person. Hearing this, Xie Xinran's fondness for Ning Xiaoyan grew even stronger. Brother Ning, don't say that. The grace of saving lives is heavier than Mount Tai. My grandfather is getting old. After hearing about this, he was deeply grateful. So he wants to thank you in person. The elderly man's health had never been very good. I'm the junior. She really didn't want him to have any regrets. In the end, Xie Xinran's eyes were also filled with sorrow. Ning Xiaoyan saw the other party's expression. How could he not know what he was thinking? He hesitated for a moment on the surface. Then he nodded in agreement. All right then, since you said so, I'm going next week. Seeing Ning Xiaoyan agree, Xie Xinran's anxious heart instantly relaxed. A look of joy appeared on his face. Brother Ning, thank you. It is a trivial matter. The two then chatted idly and casually. Xie Xinran never mentioned Song Minglang from beginning to end. This made Ning Xiaoyan involuntarily think more highly of the woman in front of her. After all, some things are not worth mentioning. But once he said it, then there's no going back. The two sat idly for a while. Then they left together at the tea house's main entrance. Xie Xinran walked over to a black luxury car. The rear door was opened. She looked at Ning Xiaoyan. He said goodbye with a smile. Brother Ning, I'll be leaving first. It won't affect your work. See you next week. Ning Xiaoyan heard this. First, He exchanged a glance with Xie Meng, who was quietly sitting in the back. Then he turned his head and looked at Xie Xinran in surprise. You even know this? Xie Xinran turned and walked over to Ning Xiaoyan. He replied in a low voice, my grandfather said this mission was very dangerous. So brother Ning, you need to be careful. Ning Xiaoyan glanced at Xie Meng, who was quietly sitting in the back. He immediately understood. Clearly, they were preparing to leave the Great Lake House. Xie Xinran turned and bent down, preparing to get into the car. However, just then, suddenly, one side rose. In the distance, a massive, pitch-black pillar of light shot straight up, like a streak of light shooting straight into the clouds. Thunderous rumble afterward. A tremendous explosion followed. At this moment, everyone around responded in unison. He looked toward the towering pillar of light. Xie Xinran also looked up in shock at the shadow. For a moment, he was stunned on the spot. Ning Xiaoyan gazed at the pillar of light. Her pupils also contracted, muttering to himself, here it comes. This day happened so quickly. Everyone around snapped out of their initial shock. Someone screamed in terror. What is that? Has war broken out? Nuclear weapons leaked? Meanwhile, the black shadow at the top of the pillar began to spread. Then, like a black gathering and dispersing slowly stretched out, it quickly spread downward around them. Ning, brother Ning, what is that? Xie Xinran's voice trembled slightly as she looked at Ning Xiaoyan. You have to know, she has been helping the old man with work for years, so she knew that beam of light could never have been caused by existing technology or weapons. Ning Xiaoyan stared at the beam of light and shook her head. Not knowing is definitely not a good thing. You should leave the head nurse as soon as possible. Speak. Ning Xiaoyan turned into a streak of black light, disappearing from sight without a trace. This scene instantly made many people around stare in shock and disgust. About 2 hours ago, Songjiangxing district is the most prosperous for large households. It is also the most crowded area. Naturally, it is also one of the most valued locations at headquarters. Jiang Zhongyi replied aimlessly, strolling along the sidewalk over the Cross River Bridge. Beside him was another person eating bread, a woman drinking milk tea. No, flour. You drink this stuff every day and never get tired of it. And you, a supernatural, isn't it that you don't have to eat? Looking at the woman beside him, Jiang Zhongyi complained. Cauliflower Wen Yang rolled her eyes at him. I can live without eating, but only the desires of the mouth and stomach. Do you know what it means? Eating and drinking milk tea. Not only can it fill you up, it can also make your mouth feel happy. And I feel it. After becoming an extraordinary being, eating and drinking have become much more convenient. After all, there's no need to worry about gaining weight. Eat however you like. Eat as much as you want. Doing these things will only waste your time and energy. With this time, you might as well improve yourself. Jiang Zhongyi shook his head. In his view, there was time to eat and drink. It's better to do something more meaningful. Cai Huahua and Wen Yang were instantly furious. Then he seemed to think of something, so he moved closer to Jiang Zhongyi. He asked in a low voice, by the way, loyalty and righteousness. You say eating and drinking are a waste of time. Then you and your wife do some internal affairs. Is that a waste of time? Jiang Zhongyi's face instantly flushed red. She shot Cai Huahua a glare. Oh my, you won't become a supernatural. But in that regard, I guess I didn't feel anything anymore. Cai Huahua deliberately put on a shocked expression. You're talking nonsense. I'm perfectly normal. Cai Huahua wanted to say a few more words, but her gaze was fixed on the back of a man standing by the bridge. It instantly caught everyone's attention. Jiang Zhongyi noticed Cai Huahua's expression was somewhat unusual. She also became more alert in her heart. What's wrong, Huahua? Cai Huahua stopped in her tracks. She turned her head to look at the general facing him, men with their backs to them. Then he quietly said to Jiang Zhongyi beside him, Jiang Zhongyi, look at that man. Jiang Zhongyi looked at the man Cai Huahua mentioned. He carefully held it for a while. Jiang Zhongyi asked in confusion, what's wrong? I don't feel anything special about her. Cai Huahua took the milk tea bread in her hand. He threw it into the nearby trash bin. Then, with a somewhat sorrowful expression, he spoke. Look at her back and her posture. Doesn't it look like Brother Luxing? Jiang Zhongyi Wen Yang was momentarily stunned. Then he shook his head and sighed. Brother Luxing, how could it be him? Brother Luxing, for the sake of the general, intelligence from the alien race is passed on to us. He is already dead. Cai Huahua heard this. A look of sadness flashed in his eyes. As an early addition, a group of extraordinary beings who are in charge. The three of them have a very good relationship. Luxing and Jiang Zhongyi both said, last year, it entered its second term. Only he remains in the first class to this day. If brother Lu Xing were still alive, how wonderful that would be. He shook his head. Cai Hua then prepared, and Jiang Zhongyi continued walking forward. However, just then, the man with his back to them, he made a move. This made Cai Hua, who had just taken a few steps, stop again. The man was still smoking his cigarette. Crush it with your left thumb and ring finger. Then he wiped it in front of him with his right hand. It seemed like she was wiping away tears. Seeing this, Cai Hua shuddered. He turned and walked straight toward the man. Jiang Zhongyi hurried after him. Come to the man's back. Cai Hua suddenly spoke up to remind her. The man's body stiffened at these words. Then he stiffly turned around, looking at Cai Hua in front of him. The man's sad face froze in surprise. Then he shifted his gaze. He trembled as he spoke. You've got the wrong person. At this moment, Jiang Zhongyi could clearly see the man's face. Ordinary people have nothing in common with Lu Xing. Flower, you've got the wrong person. Jiang Zhongyi gave the man an apologetic smile. He reached out, ready to take Cai Hua away. However, Cai Hua shook off Jiang Zhongyi's hand. She stared intently at this unfamiliar man. A look of doubt flashed in his eyes, even though the other person's back and habits were exactly the same. But why not the person I remembered? The man looked a bit awkward as he tried to leave, but his hand was held by Cai Hua. Then Cai Hua took the opportunity to lift her shirt. Her speed was too fast, so much so that men are completely unprepared, and this line doesn't matter. The thumb-sized black paper on the man's abs. Cai Hua's eyes instantly reddened. Then Cai Hua lunged directly at the man's Huanying. He spoke with a sobbing voice. Lu Xing, I knew it was you. Even if you ruin your face, I can recognize you too. Recognized man in classical Chinese. His whole body trembled slightly. Then she hugged the cauliflower with both hands and spoke in a trembling voice. Hua, aren't you supposed to be on a mission abroad? Why? Why do you come here too? Cai Hua looked up at the man with tearful eyes and spoke. I heard you died, so I applied to headquarters. Come back to participate in this mission. I'll avenge you. The man heard this. His eyes instantly reddened. She said, holding Cai Hua's shoulder, I'm still alive. No need to avenge me. By the way, you all hurry up and leave. Leave the head nurse immediately. Go ahead. The man pushed Cai Hua away forcefully. Lu Xing, why? Cai Hua was puzzled. She thrust in just then. The sound of a pistol chambering rang out. Cai Hua turned to look. Jiang Zhongyi looked grim, raising his gun and aiming it at Lu Xing. Zhongyi, what are you doing? He is brother Lu Xing. Cai Hua looked at Jiang Zhongyi in disbelief. He knew Jiang Zhongyi's abilities. The gun in his hand was completely different from that of ordinary people. Jiang Zhongyi's ability is to strengthen the material, so the bullets in his gun, both its power and its hardness were terrifying. Therefore, it is extremely destructive to the supernatural. What to do? Jiang Zhongyi glared at Lu Xing with a ferocious expression and cursed angrily. No, damn it, Lu Xing. You actually dared to betray headquarters and the country. What? Cai Hua's Wenyang mind went completely blank. Traditional Chinese medicine. What are you talking about? He is Lu Xing, our companion. How could he possibly do that? Shut up. Cai Hua. Cai Hua hadn't finished speaking. It was interrupted by Dr. Jiang's roar. Use your love-swept foolish brain to think carefully. This guy first told headquarters that exposing himself would mean death. Then he hid his identity here. He was clearly colluding with Team 1. Hearing what Dr. Jiang said, Cai Hua felt a chill all over. Yeah, he's an agent himself. Now, think carefully. You can spot what feels off. If Lu Xing hadn't betrayed headquarters, so why didn't he come back? Why not say you're still alive? Instead, he told headquarters to send extraordinary beings as soon as possible. And if Lu Xing really betrayed headquarters and the country, so what is the mission this time? Traps. This is definitely a trap. This is a trap set for headquarters. The purpose was to have headquarters send out a large number of extraordinary beings. The more she thought about it, a chill rose in Cai Hua's heart. He looked at Lu Xing. Instinctively, he stepped back a few times. Lu Xing looked at his old friend in front of him. 2 lines of tears slowly welled up in his eyes. Sorry, flower, loyalty and righteousness. You all should leave quickly. If you wait any longer, it will be too late. Why? Lu Xing, why is headquarters treating you so well? You shouldn't be a good person. Become a damn traitor. No, you're even more hateful than a traitor. Jiang Zhongyi was trembling all over with anger. I have no choice. I really have no choice. I'm not like that either. You haven't experienced my experience. I can't understand what I was going through. The methods of those aliens are terrifying. I simply had no choice. Listening to the other person's insults, Luxing finally broke down and burst into tears. The crying made many people around stop to watch. Someone saw the gun in Jiang Shongyi's hand. I thought it was a crime scene where a criminal was apprehended. Screw you. No matter how tragic the ending. Either way, it's just one word. Death. I've misjudged you all these years. You're just someone who cowards for life. Jiang Shongyi no longer hesitated. He said directly to Cai Hua beside him, report quickly to headquarters. Just say Luxing is still alive. This mission. It was a conspiracy targeting headquarters. Cai Hua finally realized the seriousness of the situation. She hurriedly and tremblingly pulled out her communication device, started contacting headquarters. Seeing this scene, Luxing took a step forward. Then, the communication device in Cai Hua's hand. It was like a pile of mud melting away, and as she moved, gunshots rang out immediately. The onlookers around cried out in alarm, scattering in all directions. The bullet Jiang Shongyi fired exploded in the air, then it stopped and pierced through Luxing's skull. However, Luxing, with a large hole pierced through his forehead, did not fall. He still stared at the two of them sadly as he spoke. Please, hurry up and leave. I'm leaving. Jiang Shongyi looked at his severely injured body, yet Luxing remained as usual. A shock ran through his heart. How is this possible? Even if my shot couldn't kill him, he should be able to seriously injure him as well. Luxing looked at Jiang Shongyi, then he raised his hand and pointed to his own head. Mournful spoke. This head isn't mine. My original head is in their hands. As long as my original head is still there, I'm still alive. Correspondingly, they can keep tormenting me too. It's pretty incredible, isn't it? Their methods are terrifying, far beyond what you can imagine. You haven't experienced my pain. It was a torment that made it impossible to die even if he wanted to. After hearing Luxing's words, Jiang Shongyi felt a chill fill his brain. His throat was rolling, his eyes fixed tightly on Luxing. He opened his mouth, something else he wanted to say, but at that moment, a cold voice rang out. Suddenly, a voice rang out behind him. The Luxing project is about to begin. You can go do what you need to do. Hearing this voice, Jiang Shongyi's pupils contracted. He slowly twisted his stiff neck and looked back. Not far behind him, he saw a man wearing a shirt. He was watching them coldly. She merely exchanged a glance with the man. Jiang Shongyi's heart began to beat wildly uncontrollably. It was an ordinary person turning their head in the jungle. The sudden sensation of seeing a fierce beast appear behind him. This sense of fear seems innate. Jiang Shongyi's muscles tensed all over. Only one thought came to mind. This person was definitely a being of the alien race. Cai Hua also looked at the man in the shirt with a pale face. Cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Plan to start early. Why? Isn't it supposed to start the day after tomorrow? Hearing the man in the shirt, Luxing asked in a trembling voice. You're talking too much. When to start planning? It was the young master's decision. All we can do is obey orders. The man in the shirt looked at Luxing. His tone was filled with indifference and ruthlessness. Luxing swallowed hard. Then he pointed at Jiang Shongyi and the other person. He spoke to the man in the shirt in a pleading tone. Zhongxian, these two are my best friends. For my contribution, can you let those two go? Just the two of them. Hearing Luxing's words, Zhongxian once again turned his gaze to Jiang Shongyi and the other man. At this moment, Jiang Zhong suddenly focused his gun on the man in the shirt. They locked eyes for a moment. A trace of disdainful cold smile appeared on Zhongxian's face. Yes, you can. Let them go. Luxing Gwen was overjoyed. He hurriedly said anxiously to Jiang Shongyi and the others. Grade 1. Flower. You are no match for him. Let's go. Hurry up and go. Jiang Shongyi wanted to say something, but the words were on the tip of his tongue, but he couldn't utter a single word. He paused for a moment. She suddenly let go of her hand. He came to Cai Hua's side. He pulled her up. Let's go. Jiang Shongyi turned back and looked deeply at Luxing. Then he left with Cauliflower with him. After walking some distance, Cai Hua suddenly began to cry softly. At this moment, Jiang Shongyi's eyes were bloodshot as well. He bit his teeth so hard that the pigeon jumped down and sat down. She tilted her head slightly. He glanced back out of the corner of his eye, seeing that the alien being wasn't looking at him. Instead, he was talking to Luxing about something. He hesitated for a moment. She reached into her pocket, grabbed communication devices, start typing by memory, send a message to headquarters. Luxing was not yet dead. He had just typed a few words. when Jiang Zhongyi caught another glimpse out of the corner of his eye, when leaning toward the back. But Lu Xing looked at him in terror. He opened his mouth as if saying something to him. What made his heart tremble was the clan spirit who had originally stood before Lu Xing. It actually disappeared. Loyalty and righteousness. Be careful. With Cai Huahua's terrified voice beside him, Jiang Zhongyi quickly raised his hand, shooting by intuition, and his left hand was in his pocket. At the same time, the send button was also pressed. The sound of gunfire and the sounds of flesh and blood rang out simultaneously. Zhong Xian tilted his head slightly. A bullet invisible to the naked eye grazed his cheek. Bright red blood splashed everywhere, but he pierced through with a single punch without any resistance. Cai Huahua hastily cast a spiritual energy barrier. He shattered his skull directly. Then, with a swift palm strike, he severed Jiang Zhongyi's head. Zhong Xian's speed was too fast. The intensity and timing are mastered to the extreme, so much so that Jiang Zhongyi didn't even get a second shot. The throat furnace soared high. Jiang Zhongyi's wide-eyed eyes were filled with shock and unwillingness. At this moment, he regretted it. If I, a second-tier extraordinary being, hadn't chosen to leave back then. It's about overcoming fear. Join forces with Huahua to fight this alien being. Even death could not have happened so casually. If only we could delay the support efforts. It may not be impossible to win. I feel so unwilling. Watching Cai Huahua die so brutally, Jiang Zhongyi's consciousness gradually faded and faded. Flowers bloom with loyalty and righteousness, are they not? Lu Xingfeng approached Cai Huahua's headless corpse as if sealed. After picking her up, she glared angrily at Zhong Xian. You agreed. Do not kill them. Why? Zhong Xian's hand flashed with blue light. Afterwards, his hands, stained with red and white fabric, were restored to their clean spots. He didn't answer Lu Xing's words. Zhong Xian glanced down at him. He spoke. Remember your mission. Go ahead. Zhong Xian turned and left. There is no time to rush after them. His figure had already vanished. Lu Xing roared angrily toward the sky. The head nurse is named Taxir. A coin was slowly tossed into the air. Then it kept flipping and falling down, caught by one hand. The young man was dressed casually and sat casually on a single step. Coins kept tossing endlessly. 05. Have you had enough fun? How much longer do we have to wait? A sexy woman standing next to the young man. He looked at her with a hint of grievance. Many tourists come to this landmark building to take photos and check in. Upon seeing these two, they all turned their heads. Unlike the casual and ordinary nature of youth, women with sexy and charming appearances, her figure was incredibly hot. Dress boldly and boldly. Short skirts even refer to the thighs, and she seemed completely unconcerned about whether she had a wardrobe malfunction. What's the rush? She can't eat hot tofu. The young man caught the coin again. He turned his head to look at the sexy woman. He spoke slowly. Guess right or wrong. The woman rolled her eyes, but still, there was no other choice. Flip. When the young man clenched his 5 fingers tightly, the woman looked down. The coin in her palm was clearly heads. You lost again. The young man shook his head, then flipped the coin again. If there were any extraordinary beings attending the headquarters meeting nearby at this moment, then she must have looked at the two in disbelief, because of the voices of these two conversing, and the two clans who killed Lu Xing in that video. The voice was exactly the same. Not long after, just as the woman guessed correctly once again, one had pale skin, thin and frail. The elderly man with a sullen expression walked up to the two of them. Ready? Lin Wu looked at the elder in front of him. The old man spoke calmly. Return to the young lord. Everything is ready. The old man bowed in response. Then he took out a piece of pitch black from his pocket, a jade pendant emitting a faint glow. He handed it to Lin Wu. Lin Wu took her over, gently stroked the jade pendant. A faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Very good. The woman who was born with sex was also overjoyed at the sight. She bent down and hugged the old man tightly, giving him a fierce kiss. An old minister. No wonder you're the one. Nearby tourists saw this scene. His eyes widened instantly. Unfortunately, these new rules are too terrifying. Even the highest formation could only reach this level. The old man shoved the sexy woman aside and shook her head in admiration. Lingwu Wenyang smiled faintly. Dealing with these ants is already enough. They will come in and die themselves. With that, Lingwu began to activate the jade pendant in his hand. The surface of the jade pendant flickered with a faint glow. The light grew even more dazzling. He stared straight ahead with a ferocious expression. He spoke slowly. Don't you like to come to me? Come on. I'll wait for you right here. With a cracking sound, the jade pendant in Lingwu's hand shattered with a sound. Meanwhile, the famous tower behind him suddenly trembled. Then, a pitch-black pillar of light shot up into the sky from within the tower. The shock was that the meeting room at the Transcendent headquarters was suddenly pushed open. Liu Yi, who was speaking, was interrupted. He frowned and looked at the newcomer. Minister, something happened. The communications staff hurried over to Liu Yi. He showed Liu Yi the message Jiang Shongyi had sent before his death. Lu Xing was not yet dead. Liu Yi looked at the message on his phone. At first, he was a bit puzzled, but after a moment, his pupils suddenly contracted. He directly extended both hands, grabbing the staff member by the collar. He spoke in a trembling voice. What about Jiang Shongyi? Can they still contact Jiang Shongyi? The staff member stammered. I couldn't reach him. Liu Yang felt a sudden buzz in his head. Minister, what happened? Many people in the conference room stood up one after another. Looking at Liu Yi, he asked aloud. Liu Yi held his forehead. He grabbed the staff member in front of him and said, Quick, go get Professor Yang quickly. Tell him to come quickly. Staff member Wen Yang hurriedly ran out the door. When the staff responsible for contact left, only then did Liu Yi turn around. Looking at everyone, he said weakly, Lu Xing was not dead. He may have betrayed headquarters. The worst outcome. This mission was a trap. A trap that sent extraordinary beings to their deaths. Go ahead. Liu Yi slowly sat down in a chair. He looked gloomily at the people in the meeting room. I wonder what she was thinking. Some turned pale upon hearing the news. He plopped down right into the chair. Damn traitor. Who is responsible for protecting Lu Xing's family? Bring his family to headquarters. The design brought Lu Xing out. This traitor must be severely punished. Someone shouted angrily. No one responded to his words. The meeting room was deathly silent. Just then, another staff member. He rushed into the conference room in a panic. He was holding a tablet. He spoke to Liu Yi in a trembling voice. Minister, look, what happened to the head nurse? Liu Yi quickly took the tablet. When he saw the head nurse, I was stunned after the fact-finding report. The pitch-black one in the picture. Massive illumination. It almost enveloped the entire heart and soul of Songjiang. Even though Liu Yi didn't know what it was. But even with your backside, you can tell it. For them, definitely not a good thing. At this moment, Yang Yuxian, sporting dark circles under her eyes, also came. He stopped and walked up to Liu Yi. He looked at the screen on the tablet. The more she watched, the more Yang Yuxian's brows furrowed more and more. Everyone in the conference room abandoned their positions and stared intently at Yang Yuxian and Liu Yi. If anyone knows the most about the extraordinary and the clan, looking globally, there were few more authoritative people than Yang Yuxian. Professor Yang, what do you think? Liu Yi asked Yang Yuxian beside him. Yang Yuxian pondered for a moment. Then he looked at Liu Yi and spoke bluntly. Temporarily abandoning the entire Songjiang New district. Then have all transcendents outside the area evacuate. As soon as these words were spoken, the entire meeting instantly fell into a deathly silence. What? Liu Yi thought he must have misheard. Yang Yuxian ignored everyone's reactions. He continued, this is a trap. It was a trap bait involving the entire Songjiang New district. I currently don't know what this light does, but going in would definitely be extremely dangerous. So before you have absolute confidence, the extraordinary cannot enter. Liu Yi looked at Yang Yuxian and took 2 steps back. He shook his head and spoke. Songjiang New district has a permanent population of several 100,000. You know what it means to watch these people die. What consequences will there be? Yang Yuxian fell silent. He certainly knew what consequences awaited. Social unrest, and the people's hearts were completely lost. Inaction and the centipede are 2 different concepts. What ordinary people want is not the ending. It's attitude. It's the process. But from Yang Yuxian's perspective, if he were a supernatural and an ordinary person who chooses death, then he would choose ordinary people without hesitation. After all, the extraordinary are alive. Then humanity has bargaining chips against the race. But once the extraordinary ones die, so how long can ordinary people live? Let's go to the head nurse first. I'll go check on the situation, then make a decision. He sighed. Yang Yuxian patted Liu Yi on the shoulder and said, Head nurse, Ning Xiaoyan from Songnan district appeared on a street. She looked up at the sky. In the distance, a pitch-black pillar of light embedded in the sky, still so conspicuous. As time slowly passed, everything happening inside the main care house swept across the globe like a giant wave, and ordinary people in the surrounding areas of Songjiangxing district. It also originated from Peking Opera, which was first seen by the pillar of light. It gradually turned into shock and curiosity. They all took out their phones and started filming. At this moment, the big yellow dog in an abandoned courtyard was also a bit stunned. He looked up at the pillar of light in confusion, unaware that Ning Xiaoyan had already appeared behind her. He lifted his foot and kicked the big yellow dog dogs, but she hadn't even had time to react. Ning Xiaoyan then took her and left with her. Several fighter jets took off one after another from the Great Shock World. Then she flew toward the head nurse hundreds of kilometers away. Inside the cockpit of the fighter jet, besieging it, Louis piloted the fighter jet at the same time. They were still talking in the same way. Yes, activate level 1 combat alert. The entire Songjiangshan district was completely quarantined. Disperse everyone within a 50-kilometer radius. Establish a sufficiently long buffer zone. Also, pay attention to the border line. Regional leaders are required to strictly control the major airports entering the country. This was to prevent foreign enemies from taking advantage of the situation to cause trouble. Sitting behind him was Yang Yuxian. He was constantly controlling the tablet in his hand. Continuously adjust the lighting angles in the wet image. I wanted to see something from this. Outside the fighter jet where they were, a streak of red light followed nearby, neither too far nor too close. Not long after, several fighter jets were guided by the troops who first arrived at the scene of the incident. They landed one after another. Liu Yi had just gotten off the plane. There was no time to greet the commander of the troops heading toward his own manager. He bent down and vomited. Yang Yuxian looked at Liu Yi and shook her head. Old Liu, your physical condition is getting worse and worse. He vomited for a while. Liu Yi took the water handed over by a staff member nearby. He raised his lips. Rebellious Chi, getting older, to be honest with you, I've really felt my body these past 2 years, going downhill. How is the situation now? Liu Yi looked at the commander beside him and asked. Reporting to the Sir, various methods are now being used. It is necessary to drive away the surrounding population. If nothing unexpected happens, the task can be completed within an hour. The seemingly youthful commander recalled aloud. Liu Yi nodded. Then his gaze turned to the pitch-black, spectacular light screen not far away. When he actually witnessed this scene with his own eyes, only then did I truly feel what grandeur truly means. How exactly did they do it? Liu Yi muttered instinctively. Yang Yuxian, who was also observing nearby, glanced at Liu Yi. Then he smiled and said, I want to know. Liu Yi turned his head to look at him. Then he nodded. Then let's get a closer look. Yang Yuxian smiled faintly. He quickly spoke up to stop him. No, Minister, it is now unknown whether this illumination will expand again. Being too close to it is dangerous. Yes, Minister. Now, troops are already at the front to check for danger. Let's wait a bit longer. You can't afford any mistakes. Liu Yi ignored their words. He directly asked a young man standing not far away. Zheng Guang, what do you think? Upon hearing this, everyone turned to look. One was replaced by a crew cut, dressed casually. The young man who looked sunny and handsome shrugged said, I think Professor Yang is right. If you're curious, go check it out. Who is this guy? When did it appear here? Many people around saw Zheng Guang. Everyone was startled inside. All right, then let's go see. Liu Yi looked at the commander beside him. He gave the order directly. You are right here. Yang Yuxian and Zheng Guang just needs to go. Although Liu Yi said this, let them wait here. But how could these people be exploited at the highest level, given that they personally went to the front lines? He stayed on the outskirts. That's it. Military vehicles. He started heading 5,000 meters away. The light curtain area drove away to serve as Liu and his companions. After getting off in an open area, they were at the dark light screen. It was less than 500 meters away. Up in the sky, tree-frame armed helicopters circled around the light screen. There were fully armed soldiers on the ground, carrying the most advanced exploration. Close-up observation of the black light screen. I'll go take a look. You shouldn't go. You still have a lot to do. Remember, before I come back, don't let the extraordinary enter. Yang Yuxian quickly put on a protective suit first. After giving his instructions, he kept an eye on things. He walked straight toward the light screen. Zheng Guang followed to protect him. Attention nodded. He turned and asked the person beside him. I remember the supernatural in charge of investigating Songjiang New District. There were more than a dozen people, except for the missing Jiang Shongyi and Cai Huahua. Can others still be reached? Minister, we still haven't been able to contact a single person. The staff member in charge of communications shook his head. Liu Yi sighed inwardly. No one could reach him. There are only two possibilities. Or they're all dead, or the inside of the light screen blocks all signals from outside. But whichever it is, it was unfavorable for them. A staff member approached Liu Yi. He asked hurriedly, extraordinary beings outside Songjiang New District. You can contact them all. Many of them are extraordinary beings, asking about the situation here. How should the minister respond? Liu Yi pinched the bridge of his nose. Then he said, "Notify second-term super companions from other districts. Hurry to our place as soon as possible." The first generation of Ultra Companions stood still. Yes, staff responsible for communications. Soon, things got busy. Just then, someone beside Liu Yi was holding a phone and calling out, "Minister, something's wrong." Look, Liu Yi took the phone. He saw the screen inside the phone. It was about the live broadcast of the implementation of the Dahu room. Moreover, the live stream was very popular at this time. The live comments were so numerous that it was hard to read the content. Most of them are people from all over the country, asking what happened here. A staff member spoke up nearby. "Minister, this light injection is too large, so much so that the entire head nurse, everyone can see it. There are many live broadcasts about this place now." Upon hearing this, Zhu Ming, head of the security department, immediately shouted angrily, "What do the people from the information department do? Going crazy is endless. Then just cut it off directly. The entire network system of the head nurse." Someone shook their head in protest. "There is no objection to doing so. The public can do so even if the internet is cut off. Record the video and then rebroadcast it. Moreover, at the current speed of transmission, now, I'm afraid the whole world, everyone knows the current situation of head nurses." Upon hearing this, Zhu Ming's face turned grim. "No matter what, you have to suppress this news first. It really does impact public perception. This is detrimental to social stability. At worst, when the time comes, then release some more eye-catching content. It made people forget about it. Do you want to hear what you're saying? Is the current head nurse the same as in the past? Hundreds of thousands were trapped. Millions are looking up. You can see the pillar of light implanted in the sky, nationwide, and even globally, and maybe even more. Over 1 billion people are watching this place via live streaming. What other news do you think there is? Net coverage is enough to make them forget. Is what is happening today the extinction of humanity?" The two of them spoke back and forth. As they spoke, they started arguing. Liu Yi did not interrupt their argument. Just watch. Just then, suddenly, the phone in his pocket rang. The ringtone also made the two who were arguing instinctively fall silent. Liu Yi looked at the caller ID. A bitter smile immediately appeared on his face. Seeing Liu Yi's expression, the people around instinctively held their breath. As soon as Liu Yi answered the call, just as expected, a series of interrogations came from the other end of the line. "What are you doing, Liu Yi? What is the head nurse about? Do you know what kind of impact this will have on the country?" Now, it's not just China that is paying attention to this issue. Foreign countries are also paying attention to this matter. I have already received calls from more than a dozen national leaders asking about the situation. The Transcendent headquarters is now in your hands. It is about helping you solve the country's difficulties, not to create difficulties for the country. In the end, the tone on the other end grew even more serious. Liu Yi was silent for a moment. He spoke up. "This time, it was my negligence. I didn't take this task seriously. Falling into this passive situation, I will do my best to salvage everything. Whether it succeeds or not, I will take full responsibility for this incident." "Responsible?" A voice came from the other end of the phone. "If these hundreds of thousands die, can you take responsibility? Even if you were executed tens of thousands of times, it wouldn't be enough." "Liu Yi, what are you planning to do? Tell me about it. If you don't have a plan now, then fly back. I will arrange for someone else to take your place." Liu Yi thought for a moment. Then he turned the tables and spoke up. "This incident, I'm ready not to suppress it anymore. And that's not all. I will even show up in person. Explain all this to everyone. They said it was made by alien beings." He continued, "Matters concerning the trans rebels and aliens. Why not use this opportunity to fully expose it to the public? There are two benefits to doing this. First, we are here to save everyone in Songjiang New District, so our position is on the side of justice. Second, we can rely on this opportunity." He called on extraordinary folk individuals to participate in the rescue. This can minimize casualties among the headquarters supernaturals. After hearing what Liu Yi said, there was a moment of silence on the other end before a voice came through, and tens of thousands of people could not avoid coming to their aid. "This concerns the fundamental social order. The headquarters extraordinary also cannot suffer excessive casualties. This concerns the future of the nation. Therefore, Liu Yi, this time, your best solution. It's all about finding a way. Kill those alien beings as soon as possible. As long as he won, there is still room to salvage all of this. I'm waiting for your news." On the other end of the phone, after saying the last sentence, the call was immediately hung up. At this time, Pay attention to people nearby. All of them look down at their own feet. Be completely yourself. I hadn't heard anything just now. Meanwhile, several dozen kilometers away from the beam, on the rooftop of an office building, a man and a dog, their feet suspended in midair, sitting on the edge of the rooftop. The big yellow dog turned its head. He looked at Ning Xiaoyan with a face full of shock and disgust. What did you say? You said headquarters would take this opportunity, the existence of extraordinary beings and alien beings, completely exposed to the whole world. How is this possible? Even a dog knows me. What impact will this news have on ordinary people? At that point, society would probably fall into chaos. Ning Xiaoyan sneered coldly. In an era where extraordinary beings and aliens are gradually increasing, completely exposing himself is only bound to happen sooner or later. Rather than being passive at the time, it's better to take the initiative now. Just pay attention to facing the whole world in person. Shape the headquarters into a righteous force opposing alien creatures. Not only does it allow ordinary people to see the headquarters' attitude, he could also use this opportunity to recruit those extraordinary individuals from the common people to participate in the rescue. This is all about the slogan of unclear righteousness. It allows those hidden extraordinary beings to sacrifice themselves for the sake of their lives. It can also reduce some losses at headquarters. What ordinary people at headquarters are strong isn't their strength, but rather manipulating people's hearts. Turn predicament into abilities that benefit you. The big yellow dog was stunned when he heard this, even though he considered himself to have read quite a few books, smarter than many people. But after hearing Ning Xiaoyan's words, still feels like his dog brain isn't good enough. You don't look big either. Why do we know all this? The big yellow dog looked at Ning Xiaoyan. He couldn't hide his curiosity. Ning Xiaoyan did not answer her question. Why do you understand? Because in her previous life, she knew everything that happened here. In the previous life, the headquarters was also trapped by the joint design of Luxing and the alien races. Be mindful of situations where you have no other choice. He had no choice but to reveal the matter of the extraordinary and the alien race to the world, and use this as an excuse to live stream in person, inviting capable transcendent individuals from within the country to join in the extermination of alien life forms, in the mission of saving hundreds of thousands of people. Ning Xiaoyan didn't know the course of that battle, but she knew the ending. Although headquarters won, but it was a Pyrrhic victory. That battle entered the light screen. A second-tier transcendent participant in the battle. Almost all were wiped out inside. Many extraordinary people from the common people also came to join the battle. The vast majority didn't even leave their names behind. Once inside, it never appeared again. This battle, one third-tier transcendent also died. That is the foundation of headquarters. If not for an S-rank transcendent, Zhuo Qingyu appeared and turned the tide. The outcome of that battle might have been the outcome of the unfinished battle. Thinking of Zhuo Qingyu, Ning Xiaoyan was troubled to express herself. Zhuo Qingyu, in your previous life, you broke through to the third stage and turned the tide. But now, you are only at the second tier, so it's a pity. The one who turned the tide in this lifetime. It can't be you. Thoughts continue to turn and turn. Ning Xiaoyan took out her phone and checked it. He ignored the information about Xu Wei and Xiaoxin dyeing their hair. She replied to Ning Xiaoxin with a message about her sense of security. Then Ning Xiaoyan opened the video app, just as she expected. The big yellow dog also came over to take a look. She let out a strange cry. You really got me right. The official team is also live streaming. At this moment, Liu Yi's speech was playing in the video. This was a live broadcast from the official account. In the video, behind Liu Yi is pitch black light. This angle is enough to prove that he was personally present at the first dangerous scene. Hello everyone, I'm Liu Yi. He is currently serving as Minister of State Security. This time, in this way, I want to explain some things to everyone. Liu Yi's words were simple, but it can be implanted in the main body. Encourage shared by people. In the end, the rise and fall of the nation. Every common man has a responsibility. The entire clan looked down on them, and those capable should contend with them. I'm on the front lines. I hope there are capable individuals. You can come fight alongside us. Save our fellow citizens. In the end, in the video, Liu Yi bows to the camera, and behind him were many staff members, or wearing military uniforms, or wearing a suit. They bowed together to the camera behind the camera. On Tiantai Mountain, the big yellow dog looked at Ning Xiaoyan as if he'd seen a ghost. It's exactly what you said. Ning Xiaoyan turned off her phone. He stood at the edge of the rooftop, gazing into the distance. The big yellow dog saw him get up. He quickly asked, I've seen it. Shouldn't we head back? Go back. Ning Xiaoyan looked at him. Suddenly, A meaningful smile appeared. You think I brought you here? It's for you to feel the wind. Seeing Ning Xiaoyan like this, the big yellow dog didn't know why. Suddenly, a bad feeling arose. His voice was a bit stammered. Dao. Otherwise, what else? Ning Xiaoyan raised her hand and pointed at the pitch-black pillar of light. He sneered coldly. Didn't you just hear Liu Yi say it too? If you have knowledge, you should do your part. So of course we had to join the fun. The big yellow dog heard this. It felt like he was out of thin air on his head. He was labeled with a high honor. No, 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 Your Majesty, you are mistaken. You are capable of knowledge. I'm not. I'm just a dog. Ning Xiaoyan grabbed the big yellow dog's neck directly. He lifted him up, watching him speak slowly. Enough with the nonsense. For those who are supernatural, maybe it's dangerous, but it's different for your dog. After all, whether alien or extraordinary, they don't care about a dog appearing behind him, let alone some alien beings and treasures. By then, I'll give you a share. Looking at Ning Xiaoyan's strange smile, the big yellow dog's pupils immediately contracted. Is it that you want it? The smile on Ning Xiaoyan's face grew even more bold. That's right, just as you think. The big yellow dog heard this. His two eyeballs immediately began to spin around. Ning Xiaoyan was right. He was just a dog. Who would care about a dog? If I take advantage of the chaos to think behind someone's back. A strange smile appeared on the big yellow dog's face as well. In the end, his mouth was almost at the ear of his face. Meanwhile, outside the ground light screen, Yang Yu first took off her protective suit before Liu Yi. She took the water handed over by the staff. He took a few gulps. Then he looked at Liu Yi and said bluntly, the light screen cannot be destroyed from the outside. Whether it's the power of the super vanguard or the firearm, the effect is like hitting the air. So he wanted to destroy this light screen, or wait for it to dissipate on its own, or destroy that pillar of light from within. Speaking of which, Yang Yu first raised his hand and pointed at the pitch-black pillar of light implanted in the sky. He continued, there was also an unknown black swelling inside the light screen. This kind of bloating is common for ordinary people. After continuous inhalation, physical functions will decline accordingly. Not letting Zhengguang inhale some of it, but it was not affected. Liu Yi Wenyan's eyelid twitched. So what you mean is, inside the black light screen, trapped hyperinverters are unaffected, but ordinary people go by over time. It is life-threatening. Yang Yuxiang nodded. That's right. Unless the person inside isn't breathing. Otherwise, once you breathe, it is slow suicide. Liu Yi instinctively clenched his fist. He looked at Yang Yuxian and spoke. What about the dangers inside? Can you go in? He would investigate briefly before coming out. Yang Yuxian shook her head. Then he sighed aloud. That's the key point. I just split it up. Let two groups of soldiers enter. The first batch of 5 people, the second batch of 10 people. And then, did they come out? What did you see? Liu Yi quickly asked. Yang Yuxian was silent for a moment. Then he spoke slowly. The first group went in but didn't come out. All communication devices failed. The second batch, I had them pull the rope. Walk forward 3 steps and you'll come back. However, the rope snapped. The cuts are uneven. It was as if it had been forcibly torn apart. Hearing this, Liu Yi's frown deepened. But according to my guess, these soldiers probably didn't die. Yang Yuxian continued. The outer layer of smooth wood, it should have some connection to space. People go in a little distance. It was extended deep inside. The rope was broken by spatial forces. After hearing Yang Yuxian's words, Liu Yi looked at her and spoke slowly. If a supernatural person enters it, how likely do you think you are to win? Or put it another way, what do you think can be done while protecting the lives of those inside? Win this battle. Destroy that pillar of light. This time, Yang Yuxian remained silent for several minutes. The people around quietly waited. Finally, Yang Yuxian rubbed her temples. He spoke. I still recommend giving up on this area, because, from what I've observed, this light screen probably won't last long. Those who can transcend the ordinary enter in a single day. Then life and death are unknown. Now, the purpose of the alien beings is very clear. They are just waiting for the right moment. Dealing with such enemies, we cannot have it all at once. You always have to make choices and trade-offs. We don't know what dangers lie there. How many alien beings are there? If this time they target headquarters, I want to take this opportunity. The rest destroyed us all these years. The hard-won foundation was laid. What should be done then? And Jing listened to Yang Yuxian finish speaking. Liu Yiwen clenched his fists even tighter. On his body, veins bulged and bulged. He looked up to the sky and let out a deep sigh. Then he shook his head at Yang Yuxian. Some things can only be done knowing they cannot be violated. Now it's right in front of us. There is only one choice, that is, how to win this battle quickly. Yang Yuxian said nothing more to persuade her. He said, if you want to maximize your chances of winning this battle, so you have to get enough second-tier transcendence. Besides that, a first-tier extraordinary with abilities rated B or above, they also have to fight for it. After the extraordinary one entered, cannot act alone. Groups of 5 rushed over with the super light pillar. In the end, at least one third-tier transcendent must be appointed. Join this operation. Hearing Yang Yuxian's last words, pay attention to the will of breathing uncontrollably. The surrounding staff also looked at Yang Yuxian in disbelief. A moment later, the staff responsible for communications tried to watch the gaze closely. He spoke up. Enough second-class super offenders. Now, within 2 hours of headquarters, there are 14 second-class super offenders who can be transferred to participate in the mission. A super offender with a class B or above for 1 term. About 100 people can be transferred. Yang Yu glanced at him first, then he looked at Liu Yi and spoke. Can old Qin move? Liu Yi pondered for a moment, then he slowly shook his head. This time is different from last time. How long does it take to enter the light screen and come out? That too is unknown. Old Qin must guard the headquarters, without diligence. If headquarters is lost, the consequences were even more severe than the defeat of the battle. Upon hearing this, Yang Yuxian frowned and spoke. What about the other 2 third-tier transcendents? Transferring one over would be fine. Liu Yi continued to shake his head. Jian Xiong was protecting the chief. It's impossible for them to come over. Reaching Tian Xiangfeng, I've already figured out how to contact him. He just didn't know if he would make it in time. Rushing back from abroad. Hearing this, Yang Yuxian rubbed her hair hard. Neither of them could move. One couldn't find anyone. Seeing Yang Yuxian like this, Liu Yi hurriedly got to the ground. You don't need to worry too much. I rallied the extraordinary folk through a live stream. Let the second and first stages start acting as soon as possible. I'll find a way to get Tian Xiangfeng to come back quickly. Hearing this, Yang Yuxian glanced at Liu Yi. Then suddenly he stretched out both hands. She grabbed his collar tightly. The people around were startled by the scene. Someone tried to step forward and pull Yang Yuxian, but Liu Yi replied with his hands. Everyone dispersed. Professor Yang and I have something to discuss separately. The people around had no choice but to disperse. Yang Yuxian stared intently at Liu Yi. His face was utterly grim. Liu Yi, what time is it now? Wanting to save someone. Save someone. If they don't help, then so be it. What kind of play are you playing right now? He wanted to save people but was unwilling. He ordered a third-tier transcendent to deploy. How? Take these first and second tiers. The life of the extraordinary. Go act. I'm warning you, Liu Yi, it's not like before. What is humanity facing now? Don't you know? You're still here, playing political games my ass. I know what you're thinking. If a second-tier transcendent is present, success is best, but if they fail, as long as the third-tier transcendent is still around, headquarters is still headquarters. Liu Yi just listened. No excuses were made. The two of them exchanged glances like that. Then Yang Yuxian slowly let go. He grabbed Liu Yi's hands at the collar. He said, if you don't let third-tier transcendents join the battle, so, this battle, winning is simply impossible. Liu Yi organized it, her own wrinkled collar. Then he patted Yang Yuxian on the shoulder. He sighed. She turned around and looked at everyone giving orders. Communicate the message immediately. Second-tier and first-tier transcendents. There is no need to come here for a few festivals. Directly entering the light screen. No one acted in a single group, trying every possible way. Destroy that beam of light. Additionally, he does not hide any information from ordinary folk beings. The people around understood. Then they all responded to the momentum. Meanwhile, Ning Xiaoyan also received a message from headquarters. Looking at the contents inside, the big yellow dog peeking nearby asked in confusion, why are they always second and first tier? Isn't the headquarters third tier? Shouldn't they be sent in? Ning Xiaoyan sneered coldly in Wenyang. She pointed at the black light screen ahead and spoke. Wouldn't that look like something? The big yellow dog Wenyang was puzzled. What is it? Blocking the table. Ning Xiaoyan uttered those 2 words. The big yellow dog was puzzled. Then he looked at Ning Xiaoyan in disbelief. At this gambling table, third-tier extraordinary beings are the headquarters' last bargaining chip, so headquarters didn't dare to suppress it. Speaking of which, Ning Xiaoyan couldn't help but recall the third-tier transcendent who had died in her previous life, Tian Xiangfeng. It should be noted that Tian Xiangfeng did not participate in this battle because of orders from headquarters. On the contrary, his participation in this battle was entirely his own choice. At that time, Ning Xiaoyan was deeply impressed by this person because of a single sentence. This sentence comes from someone who once participated in the head nurse outbreak incident, recorded by surviving extraordinary beings. Tian Xiangfeng protected us. He fought alone against 3 alien beings beside the Pillar of Light. This battle does not retreat. In that battle, Tian Xiong Sharpjie was killed. Finally, there is Swo Aggression, who enters the battlefield in secret, turned the tide with great effort, killed those alien beings, destroyed the Pillar of Light, issued with orders from headquarters. Receiving the information, the extraordinary beings began to rush toward the light screen one after another. Among them, there were some who were displeased inside. But in the current situation, unless he betrayed headquarters and became a deserter, otherwise, they could only be swept up in the tide. Enter this unknown battlefield. Because the light coverage area is sufficiently large, Ling Xiaoyan carried the big yellow dog. He finally found a secluded, deserted corner. He went straight inside. As soon as he touched the pitch-black light screen, a chilling feeling washed over him. He took a few steps forward, accompanied by a twist before him. Then the scenery before their eyes changed. Tall buildings still towered all around, but it lost its luster. The sky was dim and gloomy. The whole world seemed forever frozen in the moment of dusk. On the road where they were now, the surrounding area was filled with countless corpses. Shredded flesh, severed limbs, and broken arms were everywhere. The air was filled with a pungent stench of blood. Looking at the apocalyptic scenery, the big yellow dog was so startled it nearly jumped up. He swallowed hard. He forcibly controlled his trembling limbs. Ning Xiaoyan walked forward. The big yellow dog hurriedly followed behind him. Look around. The corpses on the ground seemed to tell the story of everything that had happened here not long ago. As I watched, the big yellow dog's gaze became somewhat unnatural. They had only walked very far. He found no fewer than 20 small bodies. Just looking at their youthful faces, the big yellow dog can guess their age. Just then, Ning Xiaoyan stopped in her tracks ahead. She crouched down. He turned a corpse lying on the ground over. This was a male corpse that died with his eyes wide open. He looked to be around 30 years old. Beneath her body was also the body of a young girl. Both bodies were killed by a single blow that pierced through the heart simultaneously. Ning Xiaoyan just glanced at it, just knowing this man who is extraordinary. He died protecting this young girl. Looks like my luck isn't very good. Ning Xiaoyan looked at the corpse and spoke slowly. The big yellow dog hadn't had time to ask about it yet. The meaning behind Ning Xiaoyan's words. A cold female voice rang out from above. Your luck really hasn't been great. I just cleared out these people. Not far away. I hear your footsteps. If you had come 2 minutes later, maybe he could die a little later. Ning Xiaoyan looked up, expressionless. He looked in the direction of the conversation. He saw a girl standing on the rooftop of a nearby shop. The girl wore a white dress. 2 braided buns were tied up. Her features looked somewhat youthful and inexperienced. The moment the big yellow dog heard the sound, he started pretending to be an ordinary mutt. Lowering his head, smell it here, smell it there. He slowly moved forward. Stay away from Ning Xiaoyan. What made the big yellow dog feel relieved was that alien being. Sure enough, after just one glance at her, he focused all his attention on Ning Xiaoyan. The girl stepped lightly. He looked just like a white butterfly. It lightly landed not far from Ning Xiaoyan. Originally, this movement was on the girl's body. It should have a unique charm. But Xiong Ning Xiaoyan's gaze seemed to be on a lump of rotten flesh. In his view, having dealt with alien beings for centuries, the girl before him was a completely different kind of person inside and out. The most common disguise among alien beings is substitute. Simply put, it means killing the original owner, then continue living in his place. The man before his eyes was not as panicked as he had imagined. The girl couldn't help but feel a sense of loss. After all, in his view, such low-level prey should be fled in terror. He was hunting her, just now, staring at him intently. What was that supposed to mean? Is it the ignorance of fearlessness? The girl was about to make a move. Ning Xiaoyan's voice sounded first. How many of you are there? The girl looked at Ning Xiaoyan in confusion. A moment later, a smile appeared on her face. Then it became increasingly exaggerated. Qiji was somewhat twisted. The girl bends over exaggeratedly and laughs. The snow-white groove at the collar faintly shows a faint falling line. Little guy, are you out of your mind? After seeing me, you don't run away immediately. He even turned around and asked me questions. The girl laughed as she spoke. He wiped the tears from the corner of his eye. But when she looked at Ning Xiaoyan's expression, but she couldn't smile anymore, because at this moment, Ning Xiaoyan's gaze was dark and gloomy. He was looking at her impatiently. Your girl frowned, not wanting to say anything. But suddenly, She felt her eyes. He looked uncontrollably toward the ground. What's going on? The girl was puzzled inside. Then her pupils narrowed sharply, because out of the corner of her eye, she actually saw her own body. No, it is incorrect. This guy. The girl immediately realized her head had been chopped off by the other party without her noticing, and the scene that unfolded in the next moment. This left the girl utterly shocked. She saw her own body with her own eyes. Silently, it was cut into countless chunks of flesh. How is that possible? You? Who are you? Headquarters is a philosophy beyond the ordinary. How could someone as strong as you possibly exist? The girl's head rolled on the ground a few times before stopping. Her eyes were fixed on Ning Xiaoyan. Shrieked, I know all the extraordinary beings at headquarters, even the 3 heroes who are extraordinary beings. It's impossible to achieve this step quietly. Who exactly are you? Ning Xiaoyan walked up to the girl's head. She looked down at the girl expressionlessly. Back and forth opens the mouth. What a useless person. Questions from you but no answers. Go ahead. Ning Xiaoyan lifted her foot and stepped on the girl's head. Let me ask one last time. How many of you are there? The girl felt a terrifying pressure on her face. She gritted her teeth in terror. He spoke. Wait a moment. I told you if you could let me go. Ning Xiaoyan looked down at her. Then, on his cold face, he actually showed a smile. All right, just answer my question. I'll let you go. The girl hesitated for a moment. Then he spoke. You promise? Ning Xiaoyan nodded. He moved his foot off the girl's face. I promise. Seeing Ning Xiaoyan agree, suddenly, hope arose in the girl's heart. After all, as long as she was still conscious, the body can gradually recover. Those invited to participate in this siege of you. There are 16. 16. Ning Xiaoyan pondered inwardly. This amount was somewhat beyond her expectations. You probably don't belong to the same faction, do you? Ning Xiaoyan continued to ask. The girl heard the word faction. Pupils are mentioned. She looked at Ning Xiaoyan with some surprise. I didn't expect you to know all this. Not bad. We do not belong to the same force. This time, it was that guy 05 who invited us here. By the way, 05 is your transcendent headquarters, the alien being he had been searching for all along. Her status is special. She was accompanied by 4 attendants. These 4 people, each faction is very strong. The girl thoughtfully explained Ning Xiaoyan's identity as a Lingwu. She invited you to come. Come on. Aren't you in a competitive relationship? Ning Xiaoyan's words shocked the girl once again. She looked at Ning Xiaoyan in disbelief. This native on the other side knew far too much. At that moment, she even suspected that Ning Xiaoyan was of the same kind as her. Ning Xiaoyan didn't give the girl time to think. She continued to ask, you come to this planet. What exactly are they competing for? What do you want to get? What are they competing for? What do you gain? After hearing this question, the girl, suddenly, his eyes fell into deep thought. Afterwards, his expression gradually became confused. She murmured to herself, yes, what is the purpose of our visit? Why am I here? All I know is that all living beings on this planet must die. I want to beat all the competitors, competing for great opportunities. Seeing the girl's behavior, Ning Xiaoyan sighed inwardly. Just as expected, the answer to the previous human race's near-death never unraveled. How could they know so easily now? What is the purpose of these alien beings coming here? Why exterminate humanity on this planet? Even the alien beings themselves are unaware of this question. Just then, the girl seemed to snap out of her daze. She forgot the question she had been thinking about earlier. Looking at Ning Xiaoyan, he continued. Ning Wu told us she could set up a low-frequency formation and use this as a trap, attracting many extraordinary beings. This way, we can gain an advantage in the formation. Slaughter you. Although we were initially reluctant to cooperate with Ning Wu, but kill you extraordinary beings. It benefits all of us. So we still came. Ning Xiaoyan heard this. A faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. First, eliminate the common enemy. Is it internal competition? You guys really know how to have fun. The girl blinked at the smell. You're right too. The existence of extraordinary beings. It will affect the struggles between us. Besides, you are also getting stronger. So he was strangled to eliminate it. You who haven't grown up. For us. It is something that must be done. Seeing Ning Xiaoyan remain silent, a cold glint flashed in the girl's eyes and vanished. Then a smile appeared on her face. He said, I should answer your question. Answered all of them. You should fulfill your promises too. Let me go. Not only will I not go against you, it can also help you deal with Lin Wu. After all, in a way, me and her, sooner or later, they will become enemies. In the end, the girl couldn't help but feel this way. A great sense of humiliation arose. She was now actually bowing to a human to beg for jail. If her strength recovers by 20%, with a wave of his hand, he could wipe out the dragonfish, even if she hadn't been careless at first. He immediately unleashed his divine power. Perhaps it wouldn't have ended up like this. Now, only one head remains. She couldn't do anything. You can only survive by pleasing the other person. Ning Xiaoyan looked at her, then he lifted his foot and stepped on the girl's head again. Your girl saw Ning Xiaoyan's actions. His heart trembled instantly. You promised it. How can you feel the increasing pressure on your face? The girl immediately cried out in terror. Yes, I promised. Ning Xiaoyan looked down at her, then a fierce smile appeared on his face. But I changed my mind. As the strength under her feet increased, the girl's skull began to deform. Strangely, blood kept flowing out. The girl opened her mouth and cursed Ning Xiaoyan. However, Ning Xiaoyan looked at the girl. It was like watching a dog on the brink of death with Wu Ye. She gradually increased the strength beneath her feet. With a splash, the head beneath his feet was completely destroyed by the qi. Not far away, the big yellow dog shivered at the sight. He gained a new understanding of Ning Xiaoyan's shamelessness and ruthlessness. She walked up to Ning Xiaoyan. Looking at the disfigured head, he spoke. Dead. This alien being died so easily. Upon hearing this, Ning Xiaoyan looked at the bloody scene around her. He said expressionlessly, the long one-sided massacre made her feel arrogant. If only she had been more cautious of me from the start, it wouldn't have been so easy to save the life. Speaking of which, a thought surfaced in Ning Xiaoyan's mind. That night, the mysterious woman in ancient costume I met on the rooftop. The other party did not use any means to protect themselves. He dodged her attack so easily. Just then, several huge explosions came from their left front. He looked up at the dim sky. Ling Xiaoyan disappeared on the spot with the big yellow dog. When they reappeared, they had already arrived atop a tall building. The man and the dog looked down. Below, a fierce battle was raging. To be precise, it was 3 extraordinary beings besieging him, alone. The hands of the man being knocked down by the besieged man glowed with light. Every punch he threw made the air crack. He kept forcing back the extraordinary man attacking him. The wave of energy radiating from the fist wind. It can even shatter boulders flying toward him from several meters away. In contrast, the other 3 extraordinary beings, 2 sons and 1 daughter. Among them, a girl who looked young stood not far away. His pretty face turned deathly pale, hands raised. Several huge rocks surrounded. From time to time, a huge boulder flew toward the battlefield. The other 2 men used their tactics one after the other, engage in close combat with the enemy. That person. Ning Xiaoyan looked at the person being besieged by 3 extraordinary beings. He narrowed his eyes slightly. The big yellow dog also exclaimed in surprise. It was the alien creatures of that club. I remember his name was Zhong Xian. Ning Xiaoyan nodded. It was him. At this moment, Ning Xiaoyan's gaze left Zhong Xian. He looked at the other 3 people. Among the 3 extraordinary beings, she also had some impressions of that girl. It seemed to be a generation of extraordinary individuals who had recently attended the meeting with him. Cheng'an, how is it? The communicator still didn't respond. On the battlefield, Zhu Liyuan, who had been thrown away by the formation, got up from the ground. She looked at the girl and roared as she asked. Meanwhile, her hands were covered in countless cracks. Billowing white smoke kept emerging from the cracks. The girl controlling the boulder, because his mental power was overdrawn. Her originally fair and upturned face. At this moment, the pale color was almost frightening. And that's not all. The girl's hair was soaked with sweat and stuck to her face. I just watched. It's useless. Even though it was extremely difficult, the girl still gritted her teeth and responded to Zhu Liyuan's question. Upon hearing this, Zhu Mingyuan's forehead bulged with veins. He cursed Chen and angrily. Damn, I just watched. You now. Why not take a look? It didn't work just now. Maybe it would be useful now. The 2 of us were fighting desperately. You can't even do the most basic support properly. Use your brain. The whole series ended. Zhu Liyuan watched his companions entangled with alien creatures. He looked at himself again, his hands trembling uncontrollably. Then he gritted his teeth. He continued charging forward. Cheng'an pressed his lips together. One hand controls the constantly shaking boulder. A hand pulled a communication device out of his pocket. Looking at the signal above, sweat streamed from his forehead to his eyes. Then it mixed with tears and flowed out. Not long ago, he encountered this alien being, and the moment the battle began, he never relaxed for a moment, because he knew he was only a first-tier transcendent. His own abilities are useless in close combat, so he had been doing everything he could to cover for that person. However, the ongoing high-pressure battle had long since nearly broken him. On the rooftop of the building, the big yellow dog watched everything happening below. The sound of the Z's river emerges. He hadn't expected these 3 extraordinary beings to be quite powerful. He actually fought Zhong Xian evenly. Ning Xiaoyan sneered in Wen Yang. There is a back and forth and a back and forth. You've really lost your eyes. Take a good look at Zhong Xian's actions. Not only could he avoid the attacks of those two extraordinary beings, his own attacks could also show them what they could handle. So much so that the two couldn't even turn around and escape. It was obvious that Zhong Xian was deliberately entangling with the three of them. He wanted to make a sound through this place, attract other extraordinary beings to come. Hearing Ning Xiaoyan's words, the big yellow dog quickly glared with a pair of dog eyes, watching Zhong Xian's every move. Looking at him, he couldn't help but gasp. Just as Ning Xiaoyan said, Zhong Xian's attack was perfectly timed and extremely dangerous. It also lets the opponent look to dodge, but if the other side turns and flees, Zhong Xian's attack, he could definitely be killed from behind. This is just like ordinary people, grabbing a knife fish and fighting like a beast. You face this beast, there's still room for maneuver, but in a single moment, he turned around. It will endanger your life. As I watched, the big yellow dog showed a mischievous smile. This guy, he wanted to attract extraordinary beings to come, and not afraid of being caught up in the gutter. Speaking of which, the big yellow dog glanced at Ning Xiaoyan. After all, this guy, just now, it was almost effortless. He killed a foreign being. Thinking about this Zhong Xian, she probably wasn't a match for Ning Xiaoyan. But the big yellow dog, the more I watched, the more puzzled I felt, because he discovered Ning Xiaoyan. There was not a single time when there was no need to move at all. And that's not all. He seemed to have some of it. Blandly, he looked in other directions. You? The big yellow dog spoke up in confusion. Don't you? Ning Xiaoyan turned to look at him. The big yellow dog's gaze. He gestured downward. That means, you don't help your companions. Ning Xiaoyan saw this. His face showed as well, a puzzled expression. What does that mean? The big yellow dog had no choice but to say, you don't help your companions. The confusion on Ning Xiaoyan's face grew even deeper. Help them? Why help? Then what are you doing here? Ning Xiaoyan and Wen Yang looked at the big yellow dog, frowning. Of course, they killed Zhong Xian. Since these alien races will eventually be enemies, it's better to get rid of them early. On this point, I am the same as that dead alien just now. The living being's perspective is the same. Hearing this, the look on the big yellow dog's face was a bit strange. Wait a moment, let me sort it out. The reason you don't leave now is because you want to kill Zhong Xian. Since you want to kill Zhong Xian, why not go down now? That way, someone will help you. Ning Xiaoyan silently looked at the big yellow dog upon hearing this. That look was like he was looking at a silly dog. How about that? Did I say anything wrong? The big yellow dog swallowed hard. Ning Xiaoyan sighed. Then she pointed to the person below and asked, do they really do me any good? The big yellow dog thought for a moment. Then he tentatively answered, help you deal with Zhong Xian. Ning Xiaoyan shook her head. These useless pieces with only one section are useless. If Zhong Xian wanted to kill them, they didn't even have a chance to escape. Upon hearing this, the big yellow dog fell silent. If we follow what Ning Xiaoyan said, so these three really couldn't bring Ning Xiaoyan any benefits. Maybe in the end, you'll only get a couple of thanks. At that moment, Ning Xiaoyan spoke up again. Also, if they die here, on the contrary, it has been very beneficial to me. The big yellow dog, Wen Yang, stared blankly at Ning Xiaoyan. Let him think whatever he wants. He couldn't figure out what Ning Xiaoyan meant by his words. The benefits, if they die, you can still benefit. Ning Xiaoyan nodded. Of course, only when they are all dead. I am the last member of the Ying family. At the end, Ning Xiaoyan revealed a strange smile on her face. The big yellow dog shivered at his expression. At this moment, he finally understood what Ning Xiaoyan meant. If this battle between headquarters and the clan's beings is about to break out, there will be a winner. So Ning Xiaoyan was determined to be the winner. After all, only winners reap huge benefits. The battlefield below, the extraordinary beings who had been drawn by the commotion of battle here were not present. This made Zhong Xian's previously indifferent expression grow even more impatient. At this moment, the three fighting against him also sensed something was wrong. But escaping is impossible, and with no one to support him, it only made them feel even more desperate. Chen Anan's face was completely drained. The strangeness lies even more in overusing abilities. Blood began to slowly flow out. Just then, ahead of where they were, various colored lights kept shooting upward, like colorful giant pythons, piercing the gray sky. The commotion immediately drew the attention of the three. It also caught Zhong Xian's attention. Is it support? Is it our companion? Receiving peace and security. A glimmer of hope rose in the desperate hearts of the three. Zhong Xian looked at the flying beam of light. He frowned. He actually forced him to use that item. It seems to be lively there. Withdraw your gaze from the distance. Zhong Xian looked back at the three of them. Then a murderous intent flashed in his eyes. I'm not playing with you anymore. Seeing Zhong Xian's expression, Zhu Luyuan's heart trembled. Not good. This guy, another extraordinary being named Lin Hao. He cried out in surprise, because his intuition was quite unique, so you can clearly feel it. The terrifying, overwhelming pressure emanating from Zhong Xian. This pressure means strength. It means the opponent's strength. Suddenly, it rose several times over. What's wrong, Lin Hao? Zhu Luyuan stared intently at Zhong Xian. He asked Lin Hao loudly. Lin Hao's pupils trembled violently. The voice was broken by fear. The way the two looked at each other, Chenanan did not see it, because his vision had long since blurred. But what happened next? But it made his eyes widen. Zhong Xian moved. He took a step forward, the blue light great sage in his eyes. He shouted angrily, "Set it for me." A pale blue halo, spreading out from beneath his feet. In an instant, the three of them were enveloped. Zhong Xian threw a punch. The next moment, Zhu Luyuan and Lin Hao were several meters away from him. He was directly blasted into pieces of flesh by an invisible force. This terrifying scene completely shattered Chenanan's understanding. His whole body went weak. He fell backward to the ground. Large patches of water began to appear under her buttocks. Zhong Xian glanced at him. Then, expressionless, he took out a steel bar from the boulder beside him. Just one step forward. Zhong Xian then walked several dozen meters away. He walked straight up to Chenanan. Chenanan trembled violently all over. He pressed his arms against the ground. Dragging his lower body, he kept retreating and lifting upward, and wept. Zhong Xian easily inserted one end of the steel bar into Chenanan's chest. Chenanan raised her lips. All his strength began to drain away. The arm supporting the ground went limp. He was laid flat on his back on the ground, and it was precisely because he was lying on the ground. So he saw two dark figures at the top of the building. So you had been here for a long time, he murmured to himself. The light in Chenanan's eyes gradually faded. Pupils begin to blur. Confirm that the other party is dead. Zhong Xian turned and left. Just after walking a short distance, Zhong Xian stopped in his tracks. He slowly turned around. He looked not far behind him. Ning Xiaoyan stood with her hands in her hands. They simply exchanged glances for a moment. Zhong Xian actually smiled. A smile appeared on her cold face, even though that smile looked stiff. Interesting. And the extraordinary are among them. There's actually a powerhouse like you. It seems I haven't wasted my precious time in vain. Ning Xiaoyan smiled too. Her smile was tinged with mockery. You seem very excited. Of course, the moment I saw you, my whole body was shaking. Zhong Xian's smile grew even more ferocious. She reached out and grabbed her collar. Then it suddenly tore open. At this moment, Zhong Xian's upper body was perfectly exposed. Her muscles fully exposed. She clenched her fists. The crunching of bones kept ringing. Ning Xiaoyan sized up Zhong Xian's perfect upper body. He nodded. A very nice body. But have you ever heard a saying? Zhong Xian raised her eyebrows at these words. What are you talking about? Proper exercise attracts the opposite sex. Overtraining attracts sexual desire. Zhong Xian frowned. She seemed to be pondering the meaning behind Ning Xiaoyan's words. Just then, Zhong Xian's upper body suddenly leaned backward. A huge boulder not far behind her was split in two. Zhong Xian looked at the huge boulder split in two, her eyes twitching wildly. She stood up straight. This time, a sense of crisis emerged. Zhong Xian, who had abandoned his focused focus, saw through Ning Xiaoyan's attack this time. She saw the faint shadows of the tree path sweeping over her in the air. Zhong Xian hurriedly turned the vine demon, dodging Ning Xiaoyan's attacks. Sinister and ruthless, they can often anticipate Zhong Xian's next move in advance. And that shadow, as sharp as a blade. In this dim world, it was almost invisible. Damn it, Zhong Xian seemed to be dancing alone. A nameless anger rose in his heart, especially when she saw Ning Xiaoyan's eyes, as if watching a show. His anger had swelled to the limit. The opponent is clearly very strong. She could have done it with him at least once. A fierce clash between the strong. But the other side used this method. A sinister and understated move. Set it for me. Zhong Xian shouted angrily. He ignored Ning Xiaoyan's attack. Let these shadows roam his powerful body, leaving deep scars that could pierce the bone. As the blue light in his eyes intensified, a ring of light suddenly spread out from beneath his feet. However, in the next moment, a scene that shocked Zhong Xian unfolded. He saw a halo beneath his feet. It actually stopped right in front of Ning Xiaoyan. Looking at Ning Xiaoyan's half-smiling, half-smirk expression. Zhong Xian's pupils suddenly flashed. This guy actually knows the scope of my prodigy's coverage. How is that possible? How did he know? Just then, a terrifying thought suddenly popped into Zhong Xian's mind. This guy was just here. He had been watching me fight those 3 useless soldiers. He actually refused to save his own companion. Zhong Xian didn't have much time to think. Ning Xiaoyon's attacks kept coming down. Zhong Xian was trembling with anger, but he was powerless against Ning Xiaoyon. As long as she moves forward, he had to endure attacks from Ning Xiaoyon, and Ning Xiaoyon would shamelessly retreat. Keeping your distance from her. And the divine power kept unleashing. Not only is it useless, it would also greatly consume her spiritual energy. This made her increasingly passive, so she could only withdraw her divine powers, forced to respond to Ning Xiaoyon's attacks. What should be done? If I kept dragging things out with her like this, it's absolutely bad for me. As Ning Xiaoyon's attack speed increased, Zhong Xian's wounds gradually increased. Her physical recovery speed was even struggling to keep up. Let's go. You have to leave first. Thinking of this, Zhong Xian's eyes began to roam around him. He had to find a place with eyes to leave. Just then, Zhong Xian's peripheral glance. Suddenly, he saw a large yellow mouth not far behind him. Tail tucked between their legs, they kept walking back and forth. He just glanced at the mud. Zhong Xian's attention shifted away. As I watched, he finally pinpointed the location where he had escaped. Ahead of that was an alley. As long as you enter the alley, walls were everywhere on both sides. There was no time for this dense crowd of shadows. The damage on the ground is so immense. Her thoughts flipped. Zhong Xian made up his mind. He pumps all his muscles. He no longer dodged Ning Xiaoyon's attacks. Prepare to unleash your divine power. He instantly teleported to the position he had set. Just then, I'm a one-legged sweeper. With a loud shout, Zhong Xian's legs were suddenly struck hard. He lost his balance in the lower body. He leaned backward. Zhong Xian's eyes widened. He stared at the strip in disbelief. The big yellow dog behind him was wielding a sweeping kick. He was not given a chance to react. The pair of dog eyes locked in his eyes suddenly flashed with a ghostly light. Control room. The big yellow dog was frightened. It was as if Zhong Xian's mind had been struck hard by noon. Then her consciousness briefly went blank. Meanwhile, Ning Xiaoyon appeared beside her. With one punch, his head was shattered. Thud. The headless corpse lay on the ground. Just in case Zhong Xian had any tricks up her sleeve, Ning Xiaoyon also chopped off her hands and feet. After waiting a while, after confirming that Zhong Xian was dead beyond death, only then did the big yellow dog let out a long sigh. Calm your wildly pounding heart. It's so thrilling. The big yellow dog spoke as he approached the corpse. Using his 2 dog paws, the body began to turn over and get up. See his actions. Ning Xiaoyon sneered. Stop looking. He had nothing on him. Upon hearing this, the big yellow dog stopped trying to pull off Zhong Xian's underwear. He turned his head suspiciously, looking at Ning Xiaoyon. No way. Didn't you say? In the hands of these alien beings, is there a treasure? Ning Xiaoyon glanced at him. He looked again. Zhong Xian, who was almost completely stripped naked. Then his face remained expressionless. In the hands of some alien beings. Indeed, it's a treasure, but clearly, he didn't have it. The big yellow dog heard this. He was instantly a bit disappointed. Just then, Lin Xiaoyon turned her head and looked in a certain direction. He spoke softly. Someone came. You follow me far behind. Don't let others notice you. Go ahead. A shadow spread beneath Lin Xiaoyon's feet, devouring the corpses and flesh on the battlefield to clear them away. Then she threw the big yellow dog several hundred meters away. Before long, 5 figures darted and leapt in turn, arriving at this area. Leading them was a tall and thin pavilion. She wore a black trench coat, standing on a second-floor rooftop. His face darkened as he surveyed the surroundings. Seeing that Ning Xiaoyon was alone, Li Guanfeng's wary gaze fell on him. You are from headquarters. Ning Xiaoyon looked at him. He nodded. Yes, I am from headquarters. Li Guanfeng continued to ask. A second-tier transcendent at headquarters. I basically remember all of them. I haven't seen you. So you are a first-tier transcendent. Ning Xiaoyon nodded again. Seeing him nod, Li Guanfeng turned to look at the 4 people behind him. Zhong Yifei, Lin Yu, you 2 attended a combat meeting a long time ago. Do you have any impression of this person? Hearing Li Guanfeng's question, the 2 behind him exchanged glances. Then the extraordinary being named Lin Yu nodded and spoke. I remember it. She did participate before. A first-tier transcendent from the headquarters operations meeting. Because that day was in Beijing. She was the last one for Ning Xiaoyon. The reason why it fell from the sky and came onto the scene. So Ling Yu had a deep impression of her. Hearing this, Li Guanfeng felt relieved. She leapt from the rooftop. He came to Ning Xiaoyon's side. Chao Qi extended his right hand. My name is Li Guanfeng, one of the heads of the South China region. Second-tier transcendent. Ning Xiaoyon. Wen Yang also reached out and shook my hand with the flag. Ning Xiaoyon. Daishou is the person in charge. First-tier transcendent. The two sides got to know each other briefly. Li Guanfeng asked Ning Xiaoyon directly. A battle just happened here. Do you know what's going on? Hearing the other party's question, Ning Xiaoyon shook her head. I was also drawn here by the commotion of the battle. He had just arrived. You came. Li Guanfeng looked at the traces of fighting around him. He nodded. It seems they have already left. They just don't know our compatriots. Have you fallen into a disadvantage? Speaking of which, Li Guanfeng looked at Ning Xiaoyon. Extend an olive branch to him. You should know, this area is very dangerous now. One person's power is limited. So why not join us? See that pillar of light? Li Guanfeng pointed to the pitch-black pillar of light in the sky. As long as we unite and get there, we can destroy him. It all ends there. We are the heroes who saved hundreds of thousands of people. Ning Xiaoyon chuckled inwardly. The authorities are actually clever here. They say it's about unity. The only worry is that when you encounter a different server, they directly treated these companions as cannon fodder. Although he thought this in his heart. But on the surface, Ning Xiaoyon pretended to be a star and spoke up. Really? That's great. To be honest, before you arrived, I've been looking for teammates too. We think the same thing. After all, there is strength in numbers. Unity can overcome all difficulties. Li Guanfeng in literary style. Listen to my commands behind me. There's nothing to fear here. And just then, the situation ahead of the group happened again. He saw that the one who had been missing for a while, the multicolored light appeared again. Each strip of light looked like a giant python, flying toward the vast sky. It appeared again. What exactly is that? Li Guanfeng gazed at the spectacular and strange scenery. His expression changed dramatically. On their way back here, I also saw this scene. I originally thought that after disappearing, I wouldn't reappear. I never expected it to appear again now. The difference from before is, this time, the brilliance also accompanies it. A series of loud explosions echoed over. Ning Xiaoyon looked at the scene ahead. He frowned slightly. She could faintly feel the tremors coming from the ground beneath her feet. There should have been a battle there. Since there is battle, then it is very likely a battle between our compatriots and foreign races. Let's go take a look, Li Guanfeng said to the group. Then he charged ahead first. The other extraordinary beings followed behind her. Ning Xiaoyon. Lin Yu deliberately slowed down. He walked up to Ning Xiaoyon, who was at the very back of the group. She turned her head to look at Ning Xiaoyon. He lowered his voice and spoke. I remember your ability to fly, right? Ning Xiaoyon turned her head to look at her. Then he nodded. Seeing Ning Xiaoyon nod, Lin Yu glanced at the few people in front of him. After confirming that a safe distance had been established, she spoke in a voice so faint only the two of them could hear. My ability. It can lure everything within a 10-meter radius of itself. And your ability is to fly. At the last resort, we can work together. Speaking of which, Lin Yu glanced at the sky. Her meaning was clear. That is when your life is in danger. They can cooperate to escape together. Ling Xiaoyon looked at her with some surprise and said, so many of us. Moreover, Li Guanfeng is a second-tier transcendent. Why should I still think about running away? Hearing Ning Xiaoyon's words, Lin Yu gave a bitter smile. You probably haven't been with headquarters for long. There are 3 leaders in the South China region. Each one is a second-tier transcendent. Among them, Li Guanfeng was the most deeply motivated among the 3. If only he hadn't encountered a life-or-death crisis. This person might not do anything out of line. But when it came to his life-and-death root king, this person is very likely to abandon us outright, even treated as cannon fodder. Upon hearing this, Ning Xiaoyon looked at Lin Yu with a somewhat strange expression. Seeing his expression, Lin Yu sighed. You definitely want to. Since I know this person isn't relying on me, why did she still have to face him together? It's actually quite simple, because I act alone. He met a daughter born from a clan. Surely you will die. But when I was with Li Guanfeng, although he also made contributions, but it was always higher than a person's survival rate. I want to complete this mission, wanting to save the ordinary people here, but he also wanted to live even more. Lin Yu's meaning was clear. She is seeking ways to improve her survival rate. Acting alone, compared to acting together with Li Guanfeng, the latter has a higher chance of survival for her. He then sought cooperation with Ning Xiaoyon. It's because Ning Xiaoyon's abilities match her own. This can increase the chances of survival online. After Lin Yu finished speaking, he waited for Ning Xiaoyon's answer. In contrast, Ning Xiaoyan. It shows a state of deep contemplation. A moment later, Ning Xiaoyan nodded at Qi. Ling Yu saw this. He breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. A faint smile appeared on her face. All right, it's settled then. Go ahead. Ling Yu began to speed up, pulling away from Ning Xiaoyan. The group moved very quickly, relying solely on the speed of the body's advance. It has already far surpassed the means of transportation on the ground. As time passed, they were getting closer and closer to the area where the anomaly had occurred, and just a few hundred meters at the very back of the group, a yellow shadow firmly followed behind them. During this time, they also encountered countless ordinary people on the road. However, the vast majority of people had already fallen into a coma, or lying on the road, or fainting in the car. Some physically strong individuals also looked pale. His whole body was weak. He couldn't even walk normally. All I can do is sit by the roadside. He looked at them with a knowing expression. The group rushed over. The miasma within the formation kept destroying the physical functions of these ordinary people. If that source isn't destroyed quickly, it was only a matter of time before the hundreds of thousands of ordinary people inside the light pillar formation perished. Li Guanfeng, the leader, watched the scene. He also frowned deeply. A sense of urgency rose in his heart. Destroying the source of the beam can resolve this incident. He naturally knew, but the source of the light pillar was destined to be the most dangerous place. Who knows how many Jade Clan beings are there? That's why he keeps searching for extraordinary beings. He wanted to gather enough strength to complete this task. Looking ahead, the area was getting closer and closer. Li Guanfeng muttered to himself. The explosion rang out again. Terrifying tremors accompanied the earth trembling. When Li Guanfeng and his group appeared in that area, they were instantly stunned by the scene below. The vast majority had already lost consciousness. Only a few were still holding their heads and crying. Teachers and parents knelt side by side on the ground, arms encircled to form a human wall, standing guard in front of these children, even though most of these people had already fainted completely. But because he knelt on both knees, and the reason for arms encircling each other, he did not fall. Outside the school gate, a massive green wall made of vines stretches across here. This massive wall blocked the aftershocks of the explosion. It blocks all harm from the outside world. Only in front of the massive wall, a young man in short-sleeved jeans laughed heartily. With a wave of his hand, he summoned a stream of tree light. See how long you can hold on. Countless streaks of colorful light blasted toward the green city wall. Some of the flowing light was on the green city walls. A faint light reflected into the sky. Some of the flowing light was reflected onto the ground, causing the earth to roar and tremble. As long as I'm alive, I will be the one to protect these children. A weak young man's voice came from within the city wall. As the voice fell, massive vines stretched out from within the city walls. He stabbed toward the person who launched the streak of light attack. The vines aren't moving fast. This allowed the attacked alien beings to easily dodge. Boring. If you choose to give up guarding those ants behind you, fight me wholeheartedly. Maybe we really won't be able to determine the winner in a short time. While dodging, the alien beings even let out mocking sounds. Meanwhile, he suddenly turned to look at the rooftop not far away. Standing side by side, Li Guanfeng made a wish. Then Ning laughed out loud. Look, the noise is too loud. It attracted some bugs to the area, but that's actually pretty good, so I don't have to go looking for them. I'll kill them first, then come back and play with you slowly. Go ahead. The alien creatures stopped attacking the giant wall. The ground beneath his feet suddenly sank. Then, like a cannonball, he charged toward Li Guanfeng and the others. At the moment the alien creature suddenly turned to gaze at him. Li Guanfeng felt his scalp tingle. Quick, quick, cover your ears. Below was a massive wall made of green vines. Qing Yan's weak and anxious voice came through. However, Li Guanfeng never had time to understand the meaning of this sentence. In the blink of an eye, that alien being had already rushed right in front of them. Everyone, let's go together, don't be afraid. He shouted angrily at Ning Xiaoyan and the others standing on either side of him. But he leapt up himself. He suddenly retreated backward. All of this happened too quickly. After hearing Li Guanfeng's words, two people, instinctively, I use my abilities. They charged toward the alien beings. Ling Yu and the other person ran off in two directions, and Ning Xiaoyan had already retreated before Li Guanfeng could shout, so much so that he was still watching their actions from behind Li Guanfeng. This ordinary young man sneered disdainfully. Then he opened his mouth and let out a terrifying, long laugh. Li Guanfeng, who was retreating, had just raised his hand. Just as he was about to use his abilities, the Taoist's laughter had already reached him. In that instant, his limbs and brain seemed to be telling the truth. All of you, go to hell. When a clan of beings was still floating in midair, a snake-shaped piece in his hand was about to fall. Suddenly, it emitted a radiant light. The next moment, the tree path radiated light from the snake-shaped path about to fall, and shot fiercely and shot out. He shot fiercely toward the surrounding people. No, Li Guangfeng witnessed this scene. He was utterly shocked and terrified. His mind was crystal clear, but the body has become more self-reliant. He could only watch helplessly as a purple streak of light appeared. It shot straight at his own head. Liu Guangzi pierced Li Guangfeng's skull. Half of his head was damaged. Poor Li Guangfeng never dreamed of this. He didn't even have a chance to show his abilities. He was killed so easily. Once again, the sound of flesh being pierced through the tree path rang out. The clan beings looked around. Then, with some shock, he realized there was still one person who survived. Right in front of Ning Xiaoyan, two people uncontrollably blocked her way, guarding her like a human shield. Rain is also among them. She turned her head and looked at Ning Xiaoyan in disbelief. Not long ago, when the alien beings charged in, he and the other person had clearly started out running in opposite directions, but later, they uncontrollably ran toward Ning Xiaoyan, and one after another, they blocked his way. The streak pierced through Ling Yu. The man ahead pierced his chest again. Why? Ling Yu's eyes were filled with disbelief. Creatures of foreign races, seeing Ning Xiaoyan actually use her own companion as a human shield. He laughed. You're much more interesting than the guy below. Really? Ning Xiaoyan said expressionlessly. He kicked Ling Yu, who was still staring unconsciously, away with a single kick. The next moment, the alien creatures suddenly felt a chill rise from their bodies. Then, uncontrollably, she threw the jade pendant in her hand to Ning Xiaoyan. The alien youth's pupils suddenly snapped. A pitch-black phantom, like a spear, shot out from beneath his feet. Stillness pierced the dog's neck. Coco, the young man's eyes widened, lowering his head and opening his mouth. Blood from the large bone coughed up from her mouth. He ordered Xiaoyan to take the jade pendant. He didn't even glance at the alien creatures. He vanished on the spot, arriving beneath the city walls made of green vines. And at the moment she disappeared, more spear phantoms pierced through the bodies of all beings. On the ground, Ning Xiaoyan looked at the vine city wall in front of her. A complex look flashed in his eyes. Chen Xiaoshuang, this will eventually reach the sixth sister. Kindness, a stubborn transcendent. Her ultimate fate is to protect 10.2 million people. Together with 3 clan beings of the same rank who had won battles, they all return to the realm. Although she only has her second sister now, yet they can also protect the children of a school. Would you disregard your own life? It seemed as if she sensed the presence of the person before her. Chen Xiaoshuang's weak voice slowly sounded. Looks like our own people won. How wonderful. Meanwhile, the city walls began to slowly enter the cave. Then came a person with eyes tightly shut. His face was revealed. Your eyes? Ning Xiaoyan looked at her. He frowned. Blind. My second-tier ability is a bit special. Excessive prolonged use will lose a part of itself. If it weren't for today, I wouldn't have noticed, let alone saving these children. A pair of eyes is nothing. Chen Xiaoshuang spoke with great care. There was not a trace of sadness in losing his eyes. Ning Xiaoyan quietly watched her for a while. Then he turned and left silently. She neither killed Chen Xiaoshuang. It's a way that's more useful than the one that is already dead. It seemed to sense Ning Xiaoyan's departure. Chen Xiaoshuang didn't suspect that the other party wouldn't save her. He only slowly uttered 2 words. Be careful. No one knew how much time had passed. Chen Xiaoshuang's abilities began to gradually fade. She also began to try, from countless vines, break free from your own body. Just then, footsteps sounded. Another person came up to her. He felt a chill rushing toward him. Chen Xiaoshuang was momentarily stunned. Then, somewhat incredulous, he spoke. It's you. You actually came too. Those old fellows. How could I possibly let you come? Speaking of which, but Chen Xiaoshuang suddenly laughed again. I understand. You must have snuck in yourself. There was a moment of silence. The voice that answered him was a cool young girl's voice. Can your eyes recover? Chen Xiaoshuang nodded. Then he shook his head again. No idea. My abilities are somewhat special. Perhaps, after another breakthrough in the future, it is possible to restore it. Hear what he says. The other party said nothing more, but Chen Xiaoshuang could feel the temperature around her rapidly dropping. You, be gentle. As soon as Chen Xiaoshuang finished speaking, accompanied by the sound of the tree path cutter slicing through the air, he felt the surrounding outer layer slowly fading away. it began to break and dissipate rapidly. The ice blade in his hand slowly faded away. Even her headband was soaked by Qingyue's turning to leave. "Wait a moment." Chen Xiaoshuang leaned against the wall and weakly cried out. So Qingyu stopped walking. She turned and reached out to him. Her face was cold and beautiful. Her white hair was covered by a hair. He was wearing a white short skirt. Her flawless, jade-like legs were perfectly balanced. There must be more than one alien being there. You'd better wait for someone else. When more people joined, they would come together. Just now, I encountered a very powerful transcendent. Hearing his words, Zuo Qingyu just gave a faint sound. Then, a white cold light erupted from his entire body, flying on the spot, rushing toward the beam of light. On a park bench, Ning Dawang, "Let me take a look just for a while." The big yellow dog wagged its tail wildly. He kept circling around Ning Xiaoyan. The dog's eyes were filled with a longing for a counterpoint. He was groping for Ning Xiaoyan, who was about to fall into the snake-like shape in his hand. The big yellow dog's nagging was getting a bit annoying. Then he tossed the snake-shaped jade pendant in his hand to the big yellow dog. He shouted excitedly. The big yellow dog treasured the jade pendant as if it had been struck by a treasure. Then he began to carefully lift the cup. Occasionally, he rubbed his sharp paw against it a few times. From time to time, he would take a few bites, and then hear it for a while. Near their surroundings, everywhere were ordinary people lying on the ground, unconscious, watching these people whose faces gradually darkened. Ning Xiaoyan knew they had at most one more day left. "Ning Xiaoyan, Zuo Qingyu, you need to speed up." Ning Xiaoyan looked up at the pitch-black pillar of light and murmured to herself. "Meanwhile, youth, let's team up together. After all, there is strength in numbers." He wanted to destroy that pillar of light, save everyone. Relying solely on his own strength was not enough. Lu Xing looked at the somewhat immature boy in front of him with a smile and said. The other party saw that Lu Xing was quite decent, so he nodded in agreement. "You're still in school." Through dialogue, Lu Xing was shocked to see the boy named Cai before him. It was all just a matter of chance. Students who become extraordinary beings. Yes, this is my senior year of high school. By the way, big brother, you really are the supernatural from headquarters. After chatting with Lu Xing, Cai developed a lot more fondness for him. Of course, I'm considered an old man at headquarters. Lu Xing replied somewhat awkwardly. Really? Cai was instantly interested upon hearing this. He started chattering endlessly about Lu Xing about headquarters. As Lu Xing answered one by one, a strong look of longing appeared on the boy's face. He excitedly clenched his fists. To be honest, Brother Lu, I always thought I was a monster. Only now do I find out. It turns out we are chosen by heaven. After this is over, I must join headquarters, fight against these alien creatures that invade us, protect our home. Hearing the boy's words, Lu Xing's expression involuntarily grew dazed. Then he looked at the young man and spoke. However, but fighting with alien beings is very dangerous. Aren't you afraid of dying? The young Wen Yang was taken aback. He asked, somewhat puzzled. Why be afraid of dying? Facing danger, there will always be people fighting in this world. Hasn't it always been like this from ancient times to the present? Let alone these alien races. They don't see us as people at all. If those of us capable are afraid of death, what about those ordinary people who lack ability? Facing the boy's gaze, Lu Xing instinctively took a step back. She didn't dare meet his gaze. What's wrong with you, Brother Lu? The boy wondered if Lu Xing was feeling unwell somewhere, so he wanted to reach out to help Lu Xing. However, Lu Xing shook off his hand, muttering to himself, "No, you're still young. You don't understand." One group was terrifying, very powerful. If only he could survive. Why risk everything? The young man seemed a bit puzzled by Lu Xing's words. He thought he had said something wrong. Scratched his head, he bowed and spoke. "Sorry, Brother Lu. I have a group of things with the supernatural, completely clueless, so some things are spoken out. Don't be angry." Lu Xing's breathing grew heavy. He tried hard to calm himself. Then she forced a smile at the boy. "It's nothing. Once you join headquarters, some things naturally come to be understood more." The boy nodded vigorously. The two of them walked together toward the pillar of light. Whether intentional or not, I don't know. Lu Xing was a backward rookie and a slouch, looking at the youth ahead, full of vitality. Lu Xing slowly raised his right hand. Then he put it down again. His body trembled slightly, feeling deeply conflicted inside. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. I just want to live. He just wanted to live. Even ants have the will to survive by survival. Moreover, reality is ultimately not ideals. Only by living can one have ideals. Once dead, there is nothing, but a true man is born between heaven and earth, or dies among the masses on Mount Tai. Or death is lighter than a Red Riding Hood, Nonsense. I am who I am. Where would the Mount Tai come from when I die? I am alive to be like Mount Tai. In the end, it's just one death. Even children understand this principle. Why don't you understand, Lu Xing? I can't even die if I want. How am I supposed to understand? It felt as if two personalities were engaged in a heated conversation inside Lu Xing. No one can convince anyone else. And just then, suddenly, the image of Ling Wu appeared in Lu Xing's mind. His smile appeared. He recalled his methods. It was only for a moment. His other personality was driven away by fear. What am I thinking? I have to complete my mission. Only by completing the task. Only then can I survive. Only then can you live well. Only to survive. Only then do you have money, power, women, status, even my own family. Thinking of this, a trace of ruthlessness flashed in Lu Xing's eyes as he looked at Cai He. Don't blame me. If anyone is to blame, blame those alien creatures. If you want to blame someone, blame them. Brother Lu, Taihe was about to turn and ask Lu Xing if he wanted to walk faster, but behind him, Lu Xing was staring at him with a ferocious expression. The young man didn't have time to react when he saw this. With a sharp thud, Lu Xing's hand seemed to stand like a standing blade. It pierced straight through the boy's chest. His eyes suddenly widened. The boy's delicate face looked at Lu Xing in disbelief. Brother Lu, hey, why? Aren't you human? Aren't we compatriots? Lu Xing did not answer the boy's question. His eyes were full of strength. His face also became twisted and twisted. It's not me who was wrong. It's this world of this big deal. Anyway, sooner or later you'll die at the hands of those aliens. Not as good as now. Die by my hand. That way, it could help me survive. We are compatriots. You'll help me, right? The young man gritted his teeth and glared angrily at Lu Xing. Blood kept flowing from his mouth. He struggled to straighten his right hand. The entire surface of his right arm flickered with light. A scorching heat also emerged. He wanted to use his abilities to counterattack Lu Xing, but as Lu Xing's eyes turned to his right hand, then the boy's entire right arm, it became as soft as cooked noodles. A sneak attack from a second-tier extraordinary being. How could he possibly stand up to him? Filled with deep resentment toward Lu Xing, the boy's eyes gradually lost their sparkle. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. Lu Xing withdrew his right hand. He scrubbed it frantically with the boy's clothes. His hands were covered in blood. He didn't dare look into the eyes of the boy lying dead on the ground. He just kept his head down, repeating those three words over and over. Since the start of the 2005 program, Lu Xing pretended to be a transcendent from headquarters, getting closer to others, then kill them from behind. The same excuse for teaming, the same headquarters identity. As one of the earliest transcendents to join headquarters, Lu Xing was very familiar with headquarters. This led to no one doubting his identity at all. This allowed Lu Xing to kill more than 20 extraordinary beings in a short time. Not long ago, he had even killed a level 2 extraordinary at headquarters, but the level 2 extraordinary at his headquarters couldn't recognize him at all. Lu Xing, whose head was swapped. He had thought Lu Xing was a special agent at headquarters carrying out a covert mission. That's why he hadn't seen it before. So much so that Lu Xing easily slipped his hand from behind his back into his heart. Even more ridiculous, before the other party died, they thought Lu Xing was being controlled by a clan member lying in ambush nearby. She didn't dare look at the boy who died with his eyes open. Lu Xing shakily stood up. He hurriedly left the area. He began searching for his next target. Ling Wu gave him only one task: assassinate the extraordinary one. The more, the better. The more, the greater his value. So Lu Xing didn't dare to rest for even a moment. He feared his value was insufficient, going back and continuing to suffer worse than death. That kind of soul with a head pierced. He simply didn't want to recall it a second time. Finally, Lu Xing saw another person. He was also a transcendent who looked quite young. Why bring a dog in? Although he had doubts in his heart, but Lu Xing didn't care about that. It looks like an ordinary mutt. After all, as an extraordinary being, all it takes is a light kick. He could kick the dog to death. Friend, wait a moment. Ning Xiaoyan turned around in confusion. The big yellow dog nearby also turned its head. Meeting here is fate. I am a transcendent from headquarters. Now, he was getting closer and closer to that pillar of light. How about we go together? After all, there is strength in numbers. Lu Xing walked up to Ning Xiaoyan. He said with a smile. Ning Xiaoyan sized him up, just as I was about to say something. Just then, it suddenly rose up. A tremendous roar erupted in the sky. This voice made Ning Xiaoyan and Lu Xing both look up at the sky. The big yellow dog instinctively looked up as well. After Lu Xing saw the scene in the sky, his pupils instantly locked in shock. A dazzling blue light appeared. Like a comet, it rolled across the gray sky. Wherever he passed, the grey mist was like a herd of sheep being dispersed, as if retreating. The sky was cut through by a long gap in the blue light, then quickly engulfed in grey mist. Tian Xiangfeng, you finally came, Ning Xiaoyan murmured to herself slowly. Lu Xing, standing nearby, looked at Sangqiu Nan and spoke. A transcendent of the three realms. Under the pitch-black pillar of light, a thick stench of blood filled the air. The area was densely covered with broken corpses. There are ordinary people. There were also transcendent beings who arrived here first, sitting on the steps, playing with coins and small objects. They watched the clear light flying toward them in the sky. A smile appeared on his indifferent face. Not bad. This time, I really fell into a big fish. The charming woman beside him yawned. Iou gazed at the sky with interest. Pan Shi sat beneath the pagoda, the elder who stabilized the formation. He slightly opened his eyes. He looked at the sky and snorted coldly, putting on a spear and showing off. After hearing Lu Xing's words, Ning Xiaoyan said. Iou glanced at him with interest. You also know about third-tier transcendence. Lu Xing gave a bitter smile upon hearing this. As an elder at headquarters, how could he not know? The ranking division of extraordinary beings. To have such a grand presence, a second-tier transcendent definitely couldn't do that. So that person must be a third-tier transcendent. By the way, since even third-tier transcendents have appeared, let's hurry to the battlefield. Lu Xing made up his mind. After killing the extraordinary being in front of him, he hid and waited for everything to end. Anyway, he had already done enough. Yes, I need to hurry to the battlefield too. Shouldn't it be us? After hearing Ning Xiaoyan's strange words, Lu Xing, he was a bit surprised inside. However, when he saw Ning Xiaoyan's strange smile toward him, a sense of foreboding suddenly arose in his heart. The next moment, his vision went black. Immediately, his entire body was shredded by the invisible shadow. Against ordinary transcendents below the third tier, Ning Xiaoyan was very experienced. It could even be said to be effortless, because of the abilities of supernaturals below the third tier. Basically, it relies on both eyes and movements to perform, as long as your speed is fast enough. So, for extraordinary beings below the third tier, there was no chance to show his abilities in front of him. The big yellow dog beside him looked at Lu Xing's ground of minced flesh. He shook his head. All I can say is, this guy is really unlucky. Whoever you want to find for a companion is not good, and it happened to be Ning Xiaoyan's head. You have to understand, Ning Xiaoyan had originally planned to let as many extraordinary people here die as possible. This disaster struck Ning Xiaoyan alone. If that's not courting death, then what is? However, just then, suddenly, a mist rose from the ground filled with shredded flesh. Then, like lightning, it shot toward the beam of light, and ordered Xiaoyan to see this. His pupils contracted. Her reaction then was even faster than she thought. The shadows that had surrounded her in advance instantly transformed into a king, enveloping that mist, then stir it up directly. The moment the mist dissipated, a man's scream could be faintly heard from inside. Only now did the big yellow dog react. She looked at the place where the mist had cleared. A strange cry rang out. What kind of game is that? Ning Xiaoyan looked at the place where the mist had cleared. His eyes narrowed slightly. His soul left his body. It turned out he was a transcendent who had risked his life for the alien beings. His soul left his body. What does soul disconnect mean? The big yellow dog was puzzled. He asked aloud. Ning Xiaoyan glanced down at her. Then he began to explain. Soul separation is a special technique of the alien race. It's pretty much like the out-of-body feeling you imagine. The aliens rely on this method. It can transform the body of an extraordinary person. The head is separated on the original body of the extraordinary being. Install the head of an ordinary person, then place the soul of the extraordinary person inside. Such a clan, he could control his original head, and use this to control him, and it can make him obedient. Do things for yourself. What? The aliens actually possess such ghostly arts. The big yellow dog stared in disbelief at the ground with the minced flesh. Could it be difficult? It was like a small knife cutting my butt and opening my eyes. Just then, the big yellow dog seemed to remember something. A chill immediately rose in his heart. His voice stammered a little. As you said, if this person is a transcendent who serves a foreign race, so what is his purpose in coming to you? You? Xiaoyan looked at the minced meat of Lu Xing on the ground and spoke slowly. What else could it be? There was a 90% chance they wanted to assassinate me from behind. This person knows the headquarters this well. It seemed he was the second-tier transcendent Lu Xing who betrayed headquarters. Hearing this, the big yellow dog instinctively swallowed hard. Then he muttered quietly, this really is a thief who sniffs out. The little Yinhua met the old Yinhua. Xiao Yang Wenyang glanced at the big yellow dog. The latter quickly shut his mouth. Under the pitch-black pillar of light, Ling Wu stood up. He watched the beam of clear light draw closer and closer to him. He burst out laughing. His voice echoed like thunder. If I'm not mistaken, you must be Tian Xiangfeng. Unfortunately, that old Qin Guangyi didn't show up. All of this was prepared especially for him. Up in the sky, starlight stopped several hundred meters away from the pillar. Then the light gradually faded. The true face of the woman inside was exposed to everyone's gaze. He was a middle-aged man. He looked to be in his 40s. He wore a simple mask with a wrapped face, a pair of weathered mousie. Looking down at the spiritual mist below, Tian Xiangfeng's gaze lingered on Ling Wu for a moment. Then he looked around at the horrific scenes around him. Corpses are everywhere. Blood was almost at the bottom of the ground. Just looking at Tian Xiangfeng, he clenched his fists. Whose parents are these people? Whose children? Whose family? Demons and monsters dominate. How tragic the calamity. He slowly recited these 8 words in his mind. Tian Xiangfeng moved. He raised his right palm, aimed at the pearl tower at the source of the light pillar below, left hand facing down toward the ground. One sway Tian Xiangfeng's palms formed rings of light. At this moment, the ground beneath Tian Xiangfeng's feet began to tremble slightly. Then, streams of earth-yellow air flew upward. It surged toward Tian Xiangfeng's left hand. Her right hand, aimed at the pearl tower below, grew even brighter. Seeing this scene, 055's smile remained unchanged. She didn't make any moves. Instead, he showed an expression of anticipation. Tian Xiangfeng ignored 05. Now she has only one goal. That was to destroy this orb. First, get the ordinary people here out of danger. The light in the palm of his right hand grew even brighter, until it illuminated the grey sky that had dispersed around her, on the rooftop of a high-rise building several thousand meters from the battlefield. Looking at Tian Xiangfeng, who shone like a star, the big yellow dog muttered in a daze. Is this the ability of a third-tier transcendent? It was simply terrifying. Ning Xiaoyan stood at the edge of the rooftop. He looked at Tian Xiangfeng with a calm gaze. He spoke slowly. Once an extraordinary person steps into the third tier, his physical body was moving at speed. Perception of danger, and the terrifying abilities he gained, are far beyond your imagination. As Ning Xiaoyan finished speaking, the star hole in the distant battlefield sky, she was like a shooting star, still crashed into the Zhu pagoda. Just when the big yellow dog thought this strike would surely destroy the beam, the next scene made his eyes widen. Suddenly, blue light lit up directly in front of the pillar. Then, a blue light screen bloomed like a flower. In an instant, it blocked the front of the beam of light. The meteor crashed fiercely into the blue light screen. Then a blinding light erupted. A loud boom rang out. Then, a fierce wind swept toward the two of them, and right in front of Ning Xiaoyan. But it was like an invisible wall panel, shielding these aftershocks in front of you. On the battlefield, behind 05, a simple, ancient dragon swing the size of a baby's fist floated. The blue glow radiating from its surface surged into the sky like droplets. Then it transformed into a massive shield. It's useless, Tian Xiangfeng. Your third-tier ability only has this much attack power. He couldn't even break through the shield. Say it. Ling Wu turned around. Hold the floating bell with your hand. He shook it toward the Tianxiang wind in the sky. He sneered. Since you can't bypass me, directly destroy the formation core. So I still recommend it. Find a way to deal with me first. After all, as long as you kill me, you can take this bell. It can destroy the formation. Saved everyone here. Speaking of which, Lin Wu released the bell. Let it float and float at will. He looked up at Tian Xiangfeng in the sky. Chao Qi beckoned his hand. Tian Xiangfeng looked at him. His eyes were filled with intense killing intent. Wounding my fellow countrymen. Return to my home. Today, I will kill you. Go ahead. His whole body radiated a brilliant light. He dove down toward Lin Wu. Come on. Lin Wanning chuckled. He did not retreat but advanced. A flash of grey dance flashed across his body. His entire body instantly turned pitch black, like ink. A strange creature with 3 tentacles on its back. Phew. The next moment, the ground beneath Lin Wu's feet suddenly collapsed. He charged backward toward Tian Xiangfeng. Meanwhile, more and more extraordinary beings rushed to the battlefield. They all watched the battle between Tian Xiangfeng and Lin Wu in disbelief. The speed of these two attacks was too fast. They couldn't see every punch or kick clearly. Terrifying waves of noise kept echoing. From time to time, a burst of light bursts from the center of the two of them. Rain waves even completely flattened the buildings around them. It had been a long time since Lin Wu was this excited. The steps under the beam of light have a hot figure. A woman dressed boldly watched the two fight. He stuck out his tongue and licked his red lips. To be honest, the humans on this planet, it was somewhat beyond my expectations. They grow up quickly. He sat cross-legged behind him. The elder Wen Yang sitting under the pillar of light gave a cold smile. Just an ant among a group of ball dragons. No matter how fast you grow, what use is it? But simply die sooner or later. Also, if you're bored. So I went to take care of those first. The extraordinary ones watching the commotion were killed. Then he went to help the young master resolve the battle as soon as possible. I don't know why. I always feel a bit restless. The enchanting woman Wen Yang glanced at the old man in surprise. How to put it? The old man looked at her. Then he spoke slowly. The formation couldn't hold out much longer. If I leave the core now, within 10 minutes, the formation would collapse and dissipate. Also, haven't you noticed? The guys we invited. He still hasn't come back. The enchanting woman was momentarily stunned. Then she frowned. Indeed, the commotion here is so loud, they couldn't possibly have not noticed. Besides, they had already agreed to it. Finally, this round is the last one. At this point, the third-tier transcendents of the human race were all attacking those guys. But not a single one came back. Alright, I'll go kill these people first. Then, together with 05, they killed this third-tier transcendent. Go ahead. The female attendant pulled out 2 daggers from her waist and held them in her hands. She stepped lightly. He was like a faint shadow. They charged toward the arriving transcendents. Meanwhile, inside a park dozens of kilometers from the battlefield. The battle here has just ended. The air was filled with a bone-chilling cold. The ground around seemed to be covered with a thick layer of ice. A human-shaped ice sculpture stands here. The body remains leaning forward. The frozen person inside twisted their faces and screamed. His eyes were full of unwillingness and resentment. In front of the ice sculpture, Zuo Qingyu looked up at the pitch-black pillar of light. A trace of worry flashed deep in his eyes. Teacher Tian held on. I'll be fine on my end very soon. Go ahead. He turned into a white glow and shot up into the sky. Not long ago, just as Zuo Qingyu was about to head straight for the pillar of light, but Tian Xiangfeng, who arrived later, stopped him. Light Moon, I've seen it all the way here. More than 5 battlefields. All of them are our compatriots, fighting against alien creatures. According to Professor Yang, the beam of light lasted a little longer. There are hundreds of thousands of ordinary people here. It brings you closer to death. I need to deal with the light pillar as soon as possible. There was no time to deal with those alien beings. Among the younger generation now, you are the strongest. It's just you. Only then can they do so at the fastest speed. Deal with these alien beings. So, this heavy responsibility, I'll have to leave it to you. Zuo Qingyu was silent for a moment. He then agreed. On Tiantai Mountain, looking at the woman who was almost seductive, the extraordinary one slaughtered one-sidedly. Ning Xiaoyan shook her head silently. The ignorant have no fear. These low-level transcendents were almost completely bewildered. Come here. They had no idea what was about to happen. Perhaps they had anticipated a battle, but no one would have imagined that the gap in this battle would be so huge. A transcendent who has never experienced life and death, always thinking of yourself as special. This is almost a common problem for ordinary people to suddenly gain power. This was exactly the scene on the battlefield. The enchanting woman seemed like a grim reaper, harvesting lives. Her figure was like a ghost. The twin blades in his hand slit the throats of the extraordinary being. It's no different from cutting open a protective sheet. Transcendents with special abilities can also use their abilities to dodge, but those folk extraordinary beings who had recently helped out, he didn't even know how he died himself. He just felt his vision blur. Then his neck spurt began to spew a large amount of blood. Very soon, after nearly half the people had died, the expected panic and flight began. However, the woman was fast and quick. These extraordinary beings fled toward her. Instead, it made her kill faster. Stop right there. Finally, Tian Xiangfeng made his move. She turned and struck out a ball of light with her palm. In an instant, it shot from his palm toward the seductive woman. This strike forced the woman to turn around and dodge, and also left that extraordinary being, pale from fear, and survived under his blade. However, Tian Xiangfeng also took advantage of this gap by one of Lin Wu's tentacles. It slammed hard into his chest. He let out a muffled groan. Tian Xiangfeng's chest was dented slightly from the punch. He turned and charged toward the seductive woman, trying to restrain the woman. Give these low-level transcendents a chance to escape. So responsible. The woman saw this scene. She couldn't help but lick her red lips. He then gave up the pursuit. Those extraordinaries fleeing. Zhao Tian charged toward the peak. Be careful. This guy's abilities are somewhat special. It seemed he could convert the power that attacked him. Lin Wu said as he spoke. At the same time, He fiercely punched Tian Xiangfeng. He felt as if he were fisting with himself. The enchanting woman sidestepped to dodge Tian Xiangfeng's single move, the whip barrel. The knife in his hand stabbed fiercely toward Tian Xiangfeng's neck. However, a flash of light appeared in Tian Xiangfeng's left hand. The knife in the woman's hand felt as if it had stabbed into a huge boulder. It only barely pierced the skin on Tian Xiangfeng's neck. From the rooftop, the three watched fiercely fighting. Ning Xiaoyan began to ponder. So that's how it is. Judging from Tian Xiangfeng's methods, her ability should be related to absorption and transformation. Battles of this level. The big yellow dog standing nearby was already dumbfounded. She had no doubt in her heart. If he charged into the battlefield himself, you'll definitely get killed instantly. On the battlefield, Lin Wu watched Tian Xiangfeng fight. For a while, the two of them were still holding their own without losing ground. A nameless evil suddenly rose in his heart. Ants. I admit I underestimated you a bit. Lin Wu and Tian Xiangfeng punched the tough guy a few times. A tentacle behind him suddenly extended several hundred meters backward. He swept toward a nearby gymnasium. Boom! A gymnasium large enough to hold over 1,000 people. He was directly struck down by this tentacle. The entire top is neatly cut open. Meanwhile, the tip of Guangfa's tentacle shot out countless tiny pledges. Then, like a beard, they surged into the gymnasium. It was only an instant. The dense tentacle branches redrew again, and those who retracted along with these tentacles. There were also hundreds of people caught in the process. Tian Xiangfeng, don't you like saving people? Let's see if you can save these people. Lin Wanning chuckled. He controlled the tentacles to throw the hundreds of unconscious people away. Tian Xiangfeng witnessed this scene. His pupils contracted, because among the people rapidly falling from the sky, many are still just children. You beast! Tian Xiangfeng roared angrily. Lin Wu burst out laughing at this. If you don't hurry and save them, they were about to fall to their deaths. The seductive woman nearby saw the scene. His eyes lit up. You really have something to say, Lin Wu. In his view, as long as Tian Xiangfeng uses his own abilities, saving ordinary people hundreds of meters away, then he himself would inevitably have a brief empty device, unable to use the ability to transform to protect oneself. Just like earlier, he was just like that low-level transcendent. Watching the scattered falls, people about to fall onto hard ground. Tian Xiangfeng's eyes were bloodshot. Just consider it as preparing to release it.